What we're gonna do right here is go back into time.
Previously on The Rich Eisen Show.
Even when you talk about the commissioner from Rob Manfred from Major League Baseball, that even when it does return, that those dates are in June, you then look at the calendar and realize you're still in March, so you've got all of April and all of May before you get to June. And maybe we'll get games. Now, I'm not trying to be the wet blanket. The wet blanket is COVID-19. I'm just really starting to grasp how long this is going to be.
Another Rich Eisen Show is coming at you right now.
Y'all ready for this?
This is The Rich Eisen Show.
Feeling like an animal, living in the zoo. My friends text me, I'm like, don't come through.
Live from The Rich Eisen Show studio in Los Angeles.
Yeah, I'm living like a loser, only hang with my producer.
Heard nationwide, televised online at richeisenshow.com.
I think it's impossible to play without fans.
Wait till y'all see me and my teammates handshakes after this.
Today's guests, New Orleans Saints wide receiver Emmanuel Sanders, Oklahoma quarterback Jaylen Hertz, 12-year NBA veteran Rex Chapman, and now, it's Rich Eisen.
Well, hey, everybody. Welcome to this edition of the Rich Eisen Show. Pleased to be healthy and happy enough to be sitting behind this chair to be on this Rich Eisen Show loyal radio affiliate. Pleased that we can be here in our Los Angeles studios. And we're all happy and healthy and well enough and socially distant enough here in this studio to be here. I know I've been mentioning before many cities and municipalities and states around this country issued a shelter in place for so many people that we need to all stay at home. And my family is all quarantined in place and sheltered in place. And the same thing with you, Chris Brockman, correct?
Yes, indeed, sir.
And Mike Del Tufo, who is coming back from his home right now, all sheltered in place by himself. You are feeling happy and healthy, correct?
Yeah.
So we figured, T.J. Jefferson, our social media Grand Maester, who's in the background right there, he's feeling well. Cisco's feeling well. Our crew is feeling well, and we're less than 10 people, and we're sitting here in a clean studio. So if you want a distraction, you want to be here, we'll be here for you. And so we're here. And people, if you're sitting at home and you want to chit-chat with us, 844-204-RICH is the number to dial. YouTube.com/Rich Eisen Show is the way you can watch us live. I am back in the chair, and for our radio audience out there listening on, again, this loyal Rich Eisen, back in the chair, and I'm back in mauve, which is that famed DC-AC song, I believe.
This is the original working title for Back in Black, I think.
Back in mauve. They just figured that it didn't rhyme with enough.
Yeah.
So I'm back in mauve.
Bon Scott didn't look good in mauve.
All y'all out there who watch us on our YouTube feed and sit in that wormhole, if you will, that chat room, the wormhole, 4.54s out there. All you out there who bet on my sweaters, I'm back in mauve. I do want to say this, since we do name the wormhole here, after the fact that I go absolutely crazy anytime the Knicks get mentioned, because James Dolan, the owner of the Knicks, has been somebody who I've targeted for criticism, and rightfully so, in so many different ways. He is, as we were out last week, although we'll explain to you what we were up to last week in case you're wondering and you weren't aware and you didn't see our Twitter feed and Instagram feeds explode with videos last week. He has been tested positive for coronavirus, and the number of people that have tweeted at me saying, I wonder what Rich Eisen thinks about this, as if my response is going to be because he dragged Charles Oakley out and forces Spike Lee to take a different route in the stadium and is one of the worst owners in sports, let alone New York sports history, that I'm actually going to be rooting for this man to be sick and potentially mortally so. That's insane. I just wanted to, start this show, again, as always, talking about life, talking about humanity, talking about what's going on here in this world. I hope James Dolan gets better, and I hope he gets better fast, and I hope he is asymptomatic as he supposedly was, and I'm just wondering how the man gets tested if he's asymptomatic. And that's one of the things about what's going on in this world I still don't understand. You know, weeks ago when we came on and started talking about we hope that people get tested, and I guess people can get tested a little bit more, but it's not nearly as prevalent as it needs to be. So many people who are listening to me sheltered in place right now are wondering if they've had it, if they have it now, if they have had it and maybe didn't know they had it and got through it. We'd all like to know. But at any rate, I hope James Dolan gets better and gets better fast. I also heard through Mike Freeman's reporting on Bleacher Report, Tony Baselli was in the ICU or might still be in the ICU.
Yeah, that's not confirmed by Baselli or any of his family members. That's a Mike Freeman report.
47 years old, as healthy as an ox, who we saw
last time we saw
at the
him.
Super Bowl.
My God.
My God. So again, you know, we're all here. We're properly socially distant. We're here in many ways because we love to do what we do. We're hoping again that we're providing some relief and some sense of everybody being out there and needing some sort of break from everything. We're here. So just wanted to tell everybody out there, stay at home if you can. Watch us, listen to us if you can. Stay at home. You see all these folks who are on the front lines in hospitals and healthcare facilities. We thank you. If you're on a break and you're listening to us or watching us, we thank you. We love you. We hope you get the personal protective equipment that you need. So we're here. And the we being not just us. Emmanuel Sanders is first up. The new New Orleans Saints wide receiver is going to be first up. And then the NFL draft is going off as planned on the calendar. We have no idea what it's going to look like, and we'll touch upon that later on in this show. Jaylen Hertz is going to join us. Now, and then Rex Chapman in hour number 3, whose Twitter feed we all need. It's the content we're here for, to use the phrase that he always uses.
Absolutely.
The 12-year NBA veteran and Kentucky Wildcat legend. There was an incredible E60 piece. I don't know if you caught any of that last week on his battles and his life. He'll join us in hour number 3 as we talk about life here all the time. But Jaylen Hertz is going to be joining us right in the middle of hour number 2. And according to my colleagues in the NFL Media Group, teams are conducting their pre-draft interviews with prospects via video conference. They're probably Zooming like we did last week to stay hot and active on our social media feeds and our YouTube feed. I mean, and everywhere else. But Tom Pelissero is saying that, again, everybody's FaceTiming or Zooming. It can't go more than an hour, no more than 3 in a week for one club with one player. And everybody's got to let the NFL player personnel department know about it. Justin Herbert apparently is having a meeting today. Let me get that for you on what
Justin Herbert, future Los Angeles Charger. Justin Herbert
with the Raiders.
Oh,
and he's already spoken with the Chargers too, according to Ian Rappaport.
Okay.
So the Raiders, 12th overall, sitting there for Justin Herbert.
He ain't gonna be there.
I don't think so.
He's looking great in that 6th spot to the Chargers, I think.
You know. And the Chargers need somebody in the worst way. It's clear that their plan was we're going to shoot our shot, YOLO, right?
Totally.
For Tom Brady. And if Tom's not available, then here's what we're going to do. We're going to go ahead and we're going to draft somebody. And we'll go into the season with Tyrod Taylor, and we'll see how it goes. And Herbert at 6, if he's there, I think he's gone. And yes, last week we had a conversation. In case you missed it, go to our YouTube feed again, youtube.com/Rich Eisen Show. And you know, our just giving a shout out again to our radio affiliates that did not have this content because we sat on our home cameras and recorded shows via Zoom last week. Me in my home office, Brockman in his your living room,
guest bedroom,
and then Mike Del Tufo sitting in front of his kitchen with all sorts of knickknacks. You got to check it out. But we had Trent Dilfer on. He is playing the role, I guess, of Jordan Palmer, throwing coach for Tua Tagovailoa. And he is right there, front and center with the guy. And he is flat out saying he's better than he was before his hip injury. That he, along with Ken Wisenhunt, have worked on his base, that he's better from the waist down. That his base that's gotten him in a lot of trouble, as he said, in in Alabama, and I think if I'm not wrong, Chris, he intimated that that's part of the reason why he got hurt a lot with his ankle injuries, and that his base is going to be better, and his arm will thus be better, and his game will thus be better, and he's looking just dynamite. And we saw the video that he put out, and we're seeing Cam Newton put out videos today, and all these players are using this moment, their social media feeds, to send out videos to let teams who can't give them physicals and give them an eyeball to eyeball look over to see how everybody's doing. That Tua is looking so damn good, I don't think he'll be there at 5 for Miami.
Oh, man.
And I'm thinking the Lions sitting there at 3 overall are just licking their chops and are very thankful that the commissioner in the NFL have decided April 23rd is going to be the first night of the draft. And the 3rd overall pick in this draft is going to be so incredibly valuable. I think the Lions are sitting back saying, who wants Tua? And who wants Herbert? And let's go. And whoever misses out on them or Love in the first round can sit back and grab Jaylen Hertz. And I'm wondering if Brockman's New England Patriots aren't sitting back there and thinking the same damn thing. Because guess who Belichick has a direct pipeline to in a manner that nobody else does? Now, so many other coaches can call Nick Saban and chit-chat with him, but it's not like they had Saban on their staff in the 90s in Cleveland wearing Coogee sweaters that we saw in NFL films. It's not like you sat down one-on-one with the guy for an HBO NFL film shot documentary. I'm wondering if Jaylen might give us a little bit of insight as to who's knocked on his door, who he's had video chats with. And then, of course, his story is tied with Tua's. Imagine he did what he did in Alabama, and he's told at halftime he's got to sit down. And he watches Tua do what he did, and then he loses his role. And how many other players have we seen, Kelly Bryant, for instance, get up and transfer right away when there's a kid right behind that comes up and looks so dynamic that the school has no choice but to start him right now, as in Trevor Lawrence. And Jaylen Hurts doesn't leave. He stays put, winds up actually playing a crucial role later on because Tua does get hurt. And we're showing on our YouTube feed his combine numbers. The kid jumped out of the gym in Indianapolis. You ran 4.5, 4.40. Are you kidding me? By the way, my Uber rating, not bad.
Hey, now.
You think his Uber rating's larger than his 40 time? We'll ask him that later on. So he's second up on this show, Rex Chapman, Emmanuel Sanders. 844-204-RICH is the number to dial here on our show. Christopher.
Hey, buddy.
Instead of a poll question today.
We have a good poll question.
We do.
Yeah, we got one.
Right,
but we also have a good topic that we're going to talk about, too.
Okay, give me the poll question first.
All right, poll question, NFL related. Who's had the best offseason? Who's won the offseason? The annual Rex Ryan Award. Who's won the offseason?
Okay.
Bucks, Cardinals, Bills, Saints.
Bucks, Cardinals, Bills, Saints.
That's a good one.
Well, I mean, the Saints get Malcolm Jenkins back, right? Drew Brees back. Our first guest, who I think is the smartest signing of free agency. Taysom Hill's not going anywhere. Obviously, Bridgewater's now in Carolina to go against them 2 times. I love the Emmanuel Sanders signing. I mean, can't guard Mike is coming off of the greatest single season a receiver's ever had in terms of receptions, and probably 3 other metrics we can't just name off the top of our heads. And, of course, as we all know, Emmanuel Sanders was wide open towards the end of the Super Bowl. What could have been his last reception as a San Francisco 49er was not. Lots to talk about with him when he joins us on our program. Jaylen Hurts and Rex Chapman. And what's the other topic of discussion?
The other topic is, this is from like a few weeks ago. There was a report that Apple was working on some software where you could unsend a message in iMessage.
Okay.
So you're texting, oh, I sent that to the wrong person, and you could take it back so it won't show up. So now, in sports, today is the 29th anniversary of Duke knocking off UNLV in the 1991 Final Four. Now, if you remember some backstory, UNLV was an absolute monster team.
Right.
They beat Duke in the championship the year before by 30 points. They had a 45-game winning streak going into the Final Four.
Is that Larry Johnson?
Larry Johnson, Stacey Augmon, Greg Anthony, monster team. Duke beat them 79-77. Now, which thing, in related to maybe UNLV fans, which thing from your sports youth would you like to hit that unsend button on?
Unsend button.
What would you like to hit that unsend button to take back? Because I'm sure UNLV fans would like that game back.
Okay. I've got a few ideas. We'll have a full-on discussion on this subject. We'll ask maybe Emmanuel Sanders and Jaylen Hertz and Rex Chapman.
I like it.
And you at 844-204-RICH. Again, if you're around, you just want to chit-chat, we're here for you. Here on this edition of the Rich Eisen Show. Don't you dare maneuver anywhere. We were back with Emmanuel Sanders right here on the Rich Eisen Show, now of the New Orleans Saints, former Steeler, former Bronco, former San Francisco 49er, now getting set to catch passes from Drew Brees. That's coming up next here on the Rich Eisen Show. Okay, we're back here for our YouTube feeders. Hello, YouTube feed, folks. The wormhole in the 454s in the wormhole. TJ Jefferson is here. He's all gloved up. I mean, I walked in with gloves and a little bit of a face protector as well. Mike, you took your scarf off for the show. I appreciate that.
Got gloves.
You got gloves? You got everything like that? Very good.
Soap, hand sanitizer, I'm all good.
What is everybody talking about in the wormhole so I can address them directly? Nice color for the sweater. Thanks, Kate. Appreciate that.
Just a lot of questions about people's teams. You want to know who won the offseason, Jets, Chiefs, Bills. Who did well?
Mm-hmm. Hold on a minute.
Where Jaylen Hertz might end up. New England.
All right.
I'm not going to lie. There's like 8 different quarterbacks that I want
What do you mean?
Instead of the 2 that we have.
What are you talking
With
about?
all due respect to Jarrett Stidham.
I don't know, Bad. I mean,
I'm talking about like let's trade for Stafford. Let's trade up for Tua. Let's draft Jaylen Hurts in the 3rd round. Like, I can't figure out what I want them to do.
I don't think Jaylen Hurts could be there for you in the 3rd round, pal.
2nd round? Where do the Pats pick in the 2nd round?
Towards the end. They always do. Hold on a minute. What are people asking out there?
Tua's dad or Burrow's dad. By the way, Joe Burrow, his nickname has to be the Tiger King, right? Like what are we doing? That's got to be his nickname now.
I like it.
Yeah. He's going to be on the Bengals. That's a big cat. His name is Joe. Like, he's Joe Exotic, the Tiger King. Like, that has to be Joe Burrow's nickname.
I love it.
Like, we figured it out. We wondered what this kid's nickname was going to be. It's Joe Exotic, the Tiger King.
I think it's great.
Like, let's go.
I like it. I've not heard a single other soul do that just yet.
It's got to be. I mean, unless of course he doesn't end up in the Bengals. But I assume he's going number 1. So
what is this font? What's this font called?
I have no idea.
Someone help me out with this.
I have no idea what Cam's doing. He's been doing this for a few years now.
Umlauts over E's, tildes over N's, carrots over A's, slashes through capital O's.
I think somebody said it's like an app or a program that he has that.
Well, you know, the line over the E means it's an like it's supposed to be pronounced E, right? So it's
yeah,
Lovey,
but every
like
single,
Lovey Smith.
Every single letter has something going on.
People-y Lovey. I don't understand it.
He's been posting a ton in the last few days. So many workout videos.
Well, I mean, he has to. He has to. That's the way he's going to have to show teams I can do this thing.
It's like him and his kid and a receiver in a big empty stadium.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Yeah, that's the way he's going to have to show off what he can do. That's the way it works right now, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And the people who's going to really be caught on the back end of it are prospects who are hurt. Because the draft is not going to be delayed. Not for a split second. So, all right, let's take a break. We'll come back. It'll be Emmanuel Sanders in a minute right here on the Rich Eisen Show. Welcome back to the Rich Eisen Show. Jaylen Hertz will be joining us in hour number 2. Rex Chapman in hour number 3. I just have to, before we get to our next guest, I have to make one admission. I have not seen a frame of Tiger King at all.
You're not in on this?
It's not that I'm not in on it yet.
But you see the conversation on
I'm sheltered in place with an 11, a 9, and a 6. Okay?
Yeah.
And thank God, again,
I don't think Tiger King's for them.
Way, everything I say, and I'm just assuming people are watching us, consuming us, taking us in any way, shape, or form to remove themselves from the real world for as much as they'd like to. So I understand that people, trust me, would love to just have it as simple as being in a house with an 11, 9, and 6 and everybody being healthy. But all this stuff about, what I'm going to do with my quarantine? I'm going to read a book. I'm going to make myself a little bit better. I'm going to learn how to cook. I'm going to learn how to play the piano. It's like, hey, I just need to, get through these next 5 seconds. And the last thing I'm going to be able to do is pop on a Tiger King right now. But I heard it's nothing but dynamite, right?
I mean, dynamite in the sense of it's an absolute train wreck. It's like Florida Man come to life in a documentary about tigers.
But you have said, right, that you've come up with a nickname.
I saw someone on Twitter
you did.
tweet this to me to Kimes, but if Joe Burrow is drafted by the Cincinnati Bengals,
right,
he has to be Joe Exotic, the Tiger King. Like, wrap it up, put in a bow, and throw away the key. That's his nickname, Joe Exotic.
Joe Exotic, the Tiger King.
It has to
be
his
from LSU
nickname.
to the Bengals. Certainly if he takes the Bengals to the Super Bowl.
Exactly.
I love it. All right, joining us now here on the show is one of my favorite people that have gotten to meet in his 10 seasons in the NFL. Third-round pick out of, I believe, SMU. Yes, indeed. And the 2010 draft. My gosh. This is unbelievable how long he's been at this. Now with the New Orleans Saints. I love this signing. Emmanuel Sanders, how are you, sir?
I'm good, Rich. How are you?
Describe me your shelter in place. What is life like for you, Emmanuel?
Oh, man. 2 kids and a wife, and I've been locked in for 3 weeks. And so it's like a roller coaster ride. It's like cleaning up all day behind the kids, telling them don't do that, don't do this, and watching Netflix with my wife and hanging out, cooking, and just really chilling. My son has a respiratory problem, so I took all precautions.
Okay.
Even before they told us to go into quarantine, I took my son out of school like a week prior. So it's been a long process, but hopefully everything calms down here soon and things can get back to normal. I'm praying.
No doubt about it. How old are your kids, Emmanuel? How old are they?
I got a 3-year-old and a 6-year-old. My son is the oldest. My daughter is 3.
Wow. So are you?
Imagine, this is probably the most I think everybody can speak for this. The most I've been at home, and the most I've probably cleaned up and washed dishes more than.
Oh yeah.
Took out the trash more than I've ever done.
Oh yeah.
Just sitting at home and cleaning up behind them.
We're all folding laundry. We're all doing that as best we can. And again, thanking everybody in the healthcare industry and hospitals for being on the front lines of everything. So.
Sure.
Yeah, we're staying at home. As you see all those photographs of nurses holding up the signs and doctors.
I just watched it yesterday, and I hear what you guys are talking about. It's definitely a crazy show. It's very highly dramatic. It definitely was entertaining. I enjoyed watching it. My wife's not so much because she thought it was a show and everything, but I enjoyed it. Just the fact that these people are really going into cages with these tigers and how they treat the tigers and how they look at it as a business and everything. And for me, there's no way in the heck you can get me in a cage with a whole bunch of tigers. I'm not doing that. I love my life. And I'll see it outside the gates. So I don't need to go inside the fence so I can feel dangerous. One of them did,
right? Somebody's getting the bang, maybe. Yeah, and probably, I don't think your contract, there's probably a clause in your new Saints contract or somewhere that says that you can't do what Joe Exotic was doing, pretty much, I'd imagine.
I don't know. I know skiing and snowboarding is off in there for sure.
Right.
But, players, they don't read that the fine line. They do what they want, as long as they don't get hurt.
I guess so. Emmanuel Sanders here on the Rich Eisen Show. Let's get into it. What was your free agent process like with everything that was going on? Obviously, you said you haven't moved in 3 weeks. There's been unique times. Walk me through what the Emmanuel Sanders free agency tour looked like, and wound up being.
Well, it's crazy because I thought free agency started, March, I think what they said, March 20th or something, or no, 18th.
Right.
And for some reason, free agency really started March 16th. I don't get why they even say the start of the new year is this day, because people were signing already prior to free agency. I guess that's the day you can sign, but really that whole grace period, that 2 days, the phones are definitely ringing, but I just didn't know where I wanted to go. And, I spoke with the Bills for a little bit, and, I told them, like, let me think about the idea and give me a night. And, like, 30 minutes later, the Stephon Diggs deal went through, and I was like, okay. And so then I kind of waited. I was talking to Green Bay. I was talking to the Niners, and just trying to figure out, what type of deal, what type of money they were talking about. And then the Saints called, and I was ecstatic about them calling, the opportunity to play with Drew Brees and everything. And, the numbers made sense. And, Drew has 2 more years left on his deal, and I signed a 2-year deal. And, I'm just excited to be a New Orleans Saint. I looked at the schedule. We got 11 or 12, games inside in the dome, and Michael Thomas being my counterpart, Drew Brees throwing the ball, Sean Payton calling the plays, wide open spread offense, just like I was with Payton in 2014. Like, it just set a new fire under me. This is my 11th season, and for me to be excited how I am in my 11th season, as if it's like my first season, it's everything that you want. You want something to give you that burning fire to go out and grind hard, just so when the season comes, what's at stake and what that city is looking for, and that's a Super Bowl or a bust.
And obviously, you being paired up, not just with Drew Brees, but can't guard Mike. That kid, Michael Thomas, is one of the most special receivers this game's ever seen. And I know he's only been off the campus at the Ohio State for just a couple of years, but he is pretty damn special. Have you been in contact with him, or how do you see you meshing with this young man that's caught everything, including a record that Marvin Harrison had up until last January?
Yeah, what an incredible talent, to play alongside a guy like that. It definitely takes pressure off you, but my job is to also take pressure off of him. And work together, and that's the entire offense. I haven't reached out to Mike, or he hasn't reached out to me. We haven't communicated, but eventually that'll happen. But one thing about me is I'm not gonna force anything. I'm just gonna let it happen naturally. It's kind of like when I left the Steelers and came to the Broncos in 2014, and Demaryius Thomas was at the top of his game as well, and going to Pro Bowls and All Pros, and it's the same thing, I just come in and I just be me, and most guys respect me for just being me. And so, I'm looking forward to getting into that locker room and meshing with the guys and having fun with the guys, but also working our butts off, because, at the end of the day, the reason why I joined the New Orleans Saints is because we have a great opportunity. We got a great team to do something special. When I say special, it's to get to the Super Bowl and try to win it all, get to the pinnacle of this game. The highs of this game. And so I understand that, like I said, I'm not going to force it, but I'm just going to go in and work my butt off and see where the chips fall.
What was your conversation with Sean Payton like? What was that one like?
It was through text.
It was?
He had texted me. Yeah, he had texted me, and he told me to go and look at the film, with what they've been doing the past 12 years, I think he said. And he was like, "You'll love it here." And I didn't even go look at the film. I texted him back within 10 seconds, and I said, "Hey, look, I don't have to go and look at film." I said, I know what you guys have done. I know what that system produces. I've been fortunate enough to play with June Jones at SMU in a spread offense, a wide open passing offense, and I put up crazy numbers. And was fortunate enough to play with Peyton in 2014 and put crazy numbers up. And so I'm a fan of pass happy offenses. I'm a fan of offense that spread the ball around and spread out a defense and chunk it, left and right. And that's like a receiver's dream. And so I've always been studying Sean and Drew and how they go about their business, from Lance Moore to, to all the great receivers that's been in that system. And so I'm just excited to be in that system, and I'm looking forward to seeing what I can do off in that system.
I imagine.
I don't know what I can do, but but I'm excited about it.
You can figure it out. I mean, and I imagine you've connected with Breeze so far.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So right when I signed, I haven't even signed yet because I got to get the physical with the whole COVID-19 thing. I haven't even had my physical, but right when Drew found out that I had picked the Saints and we had worked out the deal, Drew texted me, and I haven't had that since 14 when Peyton texted me. He texted me. He was the first person to text me before my family could even text me. Just talking about how excited he is to work, how excited he is to work with me, and I texted him back and said I'm excited to work with him and looking forward to doing something special. But it just goes to show, if you're a young quarterback out there in this league, true leadership starts at the quarterback position. And I've been fortunate enough to play with 3 Hall of Fame quarterbacks, and just Drew and Peyton, man. We want to talk about leadership. Those guys understand it. They understand that in order for a team to be good, it starts at the quarterback position and getting guys that want to play for you and want to respect you and ready to work. And so, that definitely made me more excited to play for the Saints and knowing that I got a quarterback like that.
And then last one for you on this in particular here, Emmanuel Sanders. Obviously, there's more to it than just who you're playing with or catching passes from. There's contract length, money, et cetera, so on and so forth, about family, where you want to live. But did you technically choose Breeze over Aaron Rodgers? Is that what you told me just a couple moments ago?
Yeah. I just, I don't have a problem with Aaron Rodgers because that's greatness as well. But it's just Green Bay, that cold weather, Rich. I wasn't trying to do it, man. I wasn't trying to do it. I'm like, to be in a dome, 12 games out of a year in the pass-heavy offense to go to Green Bay, and it's just like, I can't do it. I'd rather go to New Orleans. I'm from the South. My grandma is 6 hours away, can come to all the games. I can have my family drive up. It was just a perfect opportunity for me. But I tell you what, it felt good in free agency knowing that, teams who are on the verge of trying to win a Super Bowl or trying to bring me in. And, I never take things like that lightly because I know what it means. And so it definitely made me feel good. But at the end of the day, I had to choose the New Orleans Saints.
Okay, so Weather and your grandmother essentially were the Saints' aces in the hole in landing you.
And the financials.
Okay, that helps.
The financials.
Yes.
And the financials weren't there either. They wanted me to sign a 3-year deal, and I didn't want to sign a 3-year deal, so.
Okay. Emmanuel Sanders here on the Rich Eisen Show. All right, I'm going to put you in the role of paparazzi, if you don't mind. Put you in the role of analyst that you have done so well for us at NFL Network for a couple of postseasons, one in which you were hurt. And it was so great to watch you come back from that Achilles injury at your age, which, again, is something that I'm sure you don't want to talk about, but it is significant as a wide receiver over the age of 30 for you to do what you did was incredible. That said, all put together, the conversation throughout much of late February and early March was that Tom Brady would be a great fit in San Francisco, and the 49ers might actually want to twitch in that direction because of a lack of belief in Garoppolo. And what fed that was the fact that there was so much running going on to get San Francisco to the Super Bowl, in which there was a certain wide open wide receiver towards the end of that game that got airmailed by Jimmy Garoppolo. Is there any Is there any smoke, any fire in that part of the conversation about Garoppolo with the 49ers, Emmanuel Sanders?
I don't think so. And being in that locker room and being a part of that organization, I think they love Jimmy, and I love Jimmy. You want to talk about a guy who is the ultimate leader, a guy who, he might have his mistakes, but Rich, you see this guy, he'll throw 3 interceptions. You go and talk to him, and he'll just be like, I just got to keep firing it in. I got to keep firing it in. He doesn't budge. And I've seen many quarterbacks I've never seen Jimmy go in the tank. I've seen many quarterbacks, they throw 2 interceptions and they go in the tank, and I'm just like, oh, snap. Like, let me go and talk to this guy. Never had to have that moment with Jimmy. I just think right now, like with Jimmy, it's coming and being a backup from Tom Brady and leaving the Patriots organization and coming over to San Fran. The moment that this guy got in San Fran, he turned the organization around. They weren't winning games, and then he gets into the lineup. mid-trade and it went 6 games in a row, and then he tears his ACL. And it's really his first season starting as a quarterback. Really his first season starting, a full season as a quarterback, and takes his team to the Super Bowl. And for me, I just don't think it's fair, because you see a lot of guys, and they're under scrutiny, but you just got to give Jimmy time. Give him time. Give him an opportunity. I just think that right now, everybody's pressing the gate. They're pressing the gas on him to try to speed up the process, but you can't speed up time. Time is going to show, what this guy is about. And if you go and look at his win percentage and you look at his win record as a starter, it's like 80% or something. And so I remember to this day, our running game was our running game. We were able to run the ball and we were able to win games, but that's not to go to say that it was because of Jimmy Garoppolo. It's because why change it? Why try to prove a point that, our quarterback can throw the ball when we can run the ball for 300 yards on the team and win by 30 or 40 points? And so, it was plenty of games with Jimmy. We had to rely on his arm. You go back to the New Orleans Saints game. We were down 21 points, and Jimmy came in, and we came back, and we were slinging the ball all over, and he converted, the deep ball to me, and the third and I think 7 to George Kittle, and he was just making throws, and we won games. And we won games off Jimmy arms, and we won games off the run game. And so I just think that, with time, they just got to give Jimmy time. But what I see right now is just pure greatness based off his win percentage and his character and the way that this guy comes to work every day.
Well, that is definitely a full-throated support of Jimmy G right there. Walk me through that play in the Super Bowl I was referring to. That ball's in the air. Are you thinking this is a touchdown? I'm going to have the game-winning Super Bowl. Walk me through that one.
And that play, it's crazy because, that play could have been a legendary play for me and Jimmy. But, I believe in coming out, and I see the corner, he's low. I'm just like, I'm about to fly past this dude. I'm like, just get up on his toes. Do not rush it. And I hear Jimmy say, all right. And I go, and I beat the corner. And then I look, and I see the safety, and I start running. I see the ball in the air, and I'm like, this is a touchdown. And probably about 2 or 3 steps after I saw the ball in the air, I was like, holy shit. Man, I'm like, it's too far. It's too far. And, I ended up trying to get it, and the guy tripped me up and ended up falling and clapping my hands because I knew that was an opportunity for us to capitalize and, win the game. But I didn't think the game would be over based off that play because we had another play. But
right.
It just wasn't our time, and Jimmy knows it, and I know it. That was the opportunity of a lifetime for us to capitalize on, but it is what it is.
Okay. And, what was he like?
Walked up to me, and I was like, at the end of the day, it's just one play of many plays that we've made. We've made that play over and over in practice. It is what it is. It just wasn't destined for us to be. And so, and Jimmy, he's one of those types, he's not going to beat himself up. He's gonna look at it just like me because, if you sit up and you beat yourself up over something that you can't control anymore, you're only harming yourself. And so he's one of those guys, he's going to be able to put it in the rearview mirror and move on and look forward to the next opportunity.
Yeah, I was going to finish up our conversation with our question of the day, which is, Apple has come up with the technology to allow somebody to take back a text if they sent it in the wrong way or the wrong person. And what would be the sports moment that you would take back if you could hit unsend or take back? Is that the one from your whole life, career, or is there another one, Emmanuel?
Yeah, I think so. Definitely that play. If I can get that back and connect on a perfect pass and run into the end zone, that's a legendary moment. Rich, you know what that means. You know what that means for a receiver and for a quarterback. That's a play that they're running over and over on NFL film. It's that clutch. And, unless Patrick Mahomes would have went down with I think the 40-something seconds left or something,
right,
or a minute or something left and scored. If we would have won that game and connected on that pass, that's a legendary moment. So definitely that moment, but it wasn't meant to be.
All right, Emmanuel, are you aware, you went to the, obviously you're aware, the first few facts, but you went to the Super Bowl with the Steelers, I think, in your second year, right? Second year, correct? First year, right? Then you went to the Super Bowl with the Broncos, won Super Bowl 50. Then you went to the Super Bowl with the 49ers. Do you know who is the only person in NFL history to go to the Super Bowl with 4 different teams? Are you aware of who that would be?
No one.
That
would be me. if we go this year.
So you are aware. You are aware that you have an opportunity that nobody's.
I saw it on Twitter. Everybody, it went viral on Twitter.
Okay. So good luck to you on that. I sure hope that I get a chance to see everything that in this crazy ass world clears up well enough to see you on that field with the Florida League catching passes from Drew Brees. You're an A+ person, Emmanuel. I love chatting with you, and I appreciate the time. Best to your family.
Yeah, I appreciate you, Rich. Take care of yourself.
Right back at you.
As well.
Right back at you. Follow him at @eSanders_10 on Twitter. I do. You should as well. And at Emmanuel Sanders with 2 M's on Instagram right here on The Rich Eisen Show. Let me tell you something. That guy minces 0 words. That's why by the way, when he's done, he has a job in NFL broadcasting. I bet you NFL Network would be one of the first in line because we've had him on NFL Game Day Morning postseason.
Several years,
2
right?
years.
Yeah.
2 years. 1 year where the Broncos didn't make it. Another one where he blew out his Achilles. He's terrific. If he did not feel that way about Jimmy Garoppolo, he would have come up with a way to soft pedal it. Love the guy, is what he basically said, and the rest of the locker room does too. So take that one. 844-204-RICH, number to dial. Our question of the day, again, is what would you take back, hit unsend on if you could in your sports life? I've got a few of them. We'll hit that. Also, still to come, Jaylen Hertz and Rex Chapman here on The Rich Eisen Show. When we come back, a moment from my shelter in place with 2 of my 3 kids that I want to walk through everybody with.
Is it your Instagram post?
Oh, yes.
Oh, great.
For those who may not have seen it, I'll tell the story. And it's
amazing.
It's another instant classic starring the note-writing skills of my oldest and my youngest. That's next on The Rich Eisen Show. I'm telling you, he would have absolutely said right there, you know what? Jimmy's a good guy. He's got to improve a few things.
Right.
You know, if the Niners were looking at Tom Brady, how can you blame him? He's got 6 championship rings. He grew up there. You know, I don't know what they were thinking. There were so many different ways he would have been able to. Those are the, and he's savvy enough to have used those phrases to cut Jimmy G without leaving a trace of a fingerprint. Hey, man, look, the 49ers could have gone ahead and gotten Tom Brady. That's what the Chargers did, right? I mean, and then they went back to their original plan. And maybe they did do that because they didn't come out and say anything about Brady or Jimmy G. Maybe they did kick the tires on him. And who could blame him? Because, I mean, that's Tom Brady. Right? I battled Tom Brady when I was with the Steelers, and we sometimes lost more than we won, you know? And then I battled Tom Brady with the Broncos, and man, those were battles. I mean, Tom's the GOAT. So, of course, the 49ers are going to try and go get him. Instead, no, it was the exact opposite. He could have done everything that I just said.
He's a smart guy.
And he didn't. He didn't.
Smart guy.
That ball was in the air, bud.
I thought it was a touchdown. He had several steps.
Dude. I love that. I love that language of veteran receivers. Dion knew exactly whether it was a run or a pass sometimes based on the pressure on the front of a foot of the receiver that he was trying to defend. He would look down at the feet and he would know if they're on their heels, it's not going to be a big deal. They're not going to try. If they're on the balls of their feet, they're going to try and get past me. Did you hear what Emmanuel said? Don't show it. Don't get on the balls of your feet. Did you hear what he said?
Smart.
What are you doing over there?
I'm just scrolling, seeing what's happening.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you want to do this? Go for it, Don. Put it up.
Oh.
What do you think? Season ticket holder, Mike Del Tufo. What do you think of your Los Angeles Rams?
About the logo.
You know?
People are making a big deal. Who cares?
It's not good.
I missed the Ram already.
It's not good.
Who cares?
The one with the Ram was kind of cool.
Well, I think, again, that one right
there.
That
one's cool.
People are out of their minds. Who cares?
That one is...
Somebody said it looks like the Penn State Nittany Lion is angry.
Or crying?
Yeah.
A mind is a terrible thing to waste?
I mean...
The L.A. one, though.
The LA one is
moving it to a new place. Who
so
cares?
bad.
I hope they still are, right? They're still building it up there?
Oh, yeah, they're working. They don't stop.
Yeah.
That construction's working. They're working.
The construction
Don't know if
worker
Taylor
tested
Swift's
positive.
gonna have her.
Huh?
She may not have her concerts.
Did you hear
Oh,
Ballmer?
I have tickets for that.
Ballmer
They may
bought the
not.
Forum.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
$400 million cash.
So he could build the other place, which is nuts.
Cash. Do you have that lying around underneath your desk? I know you had a lot of garbage underneath your desk.
I've got some change in this T.O. popcorn thing.
How much?
I got 80 cents from a Talking Stick Resort receipt that was
That's
probably
for me.
Brogdon's. So we got 80 cents. We're good.
I bet I have at least $10 in change in my popcorn thing.
Is that right?
Yeah. That was from over the years. Remember, I used to have it stacked up on the desk.
Somebody stole the $1 I had.
There was nobody here for the last week and a half.
Actually,
No,
I don't know if
recently.
anybody walked in here.
No,
Literally,
I'm
in-
talking about
in
the last week.
Yeah,
I
nobody's
had
been
$1
here.
from
I
my
mean, stuff that I
stripping
left here
days
were
with
as exactly
Joe
as I
McNeil.
found it.
Yeah.
All right.
Joe was here.
The 4.54 is calling in again. Was that the Jaylen Hertz literally ran a 4.54 40? Did he? He
like
ran
that.
my Uber rating.
Oh, yeah.
By the way, the same people. I think the Uber drivers were the same people that were voting on the Emmys. I got the Heisman again from the Emmy crew.
I know. Poor guy. Sorry, man.
It's all right. There's no ceremony this year, and that's one of those things that I won't miss.
Bill Belichick is going to win, right?
Yeah, he was tremendous. I
mean,
should I repeat what I said for the radio audience
I
later on?
think you should.
There's people that don't have them that should. It's like Bill was great, but give it to the guys that do it every year.
Like who, though?
Yeah.
Charles Barkley already has a couple.
Stray's in that group this year. Strahan
Has he never been nominated before?
I
Is
don't
that
know
a
if
first?
he's won him. Might not, yeah, he been. I gotta look.
I think he's been nominated before.
I don't think he's ever won.
No, but do networks pack the pack the process where they're like, hey, we have like 1,000 people that are up for.
Yeah, let's all vote this year.
But no, but I thought they did away with that. That you can't just pack 1,000 people to vote on Emmys, right? How does that process work?
Stuff the ballot.
Keep it fair. Keep it fair.
Keep it fair.
All right, we're back. Welcome back to the Rich Eisen Show. 844-204-RICH, number to dial. We'll take your phone calls. Jaylen Hertz in hour number 2. Rex Chapman in hour number 3. Look, if you're sheltered in place, and I hope you are, if you can stay at home, stay at home. You know, we have 3 kids. Susie and I are playing a zone defense. We've never played zone defense like we've been playing zone defense. It is March Madness in that regard in our household. Survive in advance, all
You're
that
Jim
good stuff.
Boeheim.
Right
He gets
now.
a technical.
Yeah, right.
Technical.
Oh, by the way, Jim if we can play the 2-3 like Jim Boeheim, we're in.
2-3.
So we were particularly
Fast hands.
we were particularly scrambling in the 2-3 zone defense where we had to get on a conference call together, my wife and I. So we went upstairs into the kids' room and left Xander, my 11-year-old, in charge of the 9-year-old Cooper and 6-year-old Taylor, our youngest daughter, whose note-writing skills has already been brought to the viewing public and listening public here on the Rich Eisen Show. You got that note that she wrote many a moon ago? I want my mommy right now because I was watching Monday Night Football. Susie was out of the house. She didn't want to watch Monday Night Football, so she asked me to help her write a note that she scrawled out. But at any rate, so Xander is helping us out by wrapping up lunch, helping him clean up lunch. Susie and I are upstairs, and we hear a crinkle outside the door, and slid underneath. Xander wrote a note.
Okay.
He wrote, "Dear parents, this is how Taylor and Cooper were."
So formal.
Cooper, listened the first time, ate all his veggies and lunch, cleaned up his mess, asked to be excused. Taylor, did not, listen the first time or the second or third or fourth times. Did not clean up without being asked to, was harassing Cooper and me, and didn't respect us both. Thank you. Please leave me $5 for this. Heart, your son Xander.
Yep, that's my brother Frank right there.
I respect it.
Moments later, we hear another crinkling outside the door. It's a big folded up note that gets shoved it took about 3-4 times to get underneath the door. It's Taylor. Oh. Dear Mom and Dad.
Oh, a little more loving.
Well. We have
Yes!
X-Man in this conversation. Xander is not the boss of me. Yes. Do not listen to him. Do not put him in charge.
Yes.
Love, Taylor.
I love Taylor. The baby in the family.
Well.
Power to the babies. No one's our boss.
Just sit there and be a good child.
No.
Like, what are we doing?
No, it's how you don't know how they when you're that baby and the older one starts getting you.
Wait till you get a note from Cage. By the way, we in effect did get our first ever message from Cage. You should check out right here at youtube.com/Rich Eisen Show, the very end of our Friday show. Yeah. Our Zoom week ended with a boom and then another boom. 2 booms. Little boom boom. And the Zoom week, Brockman put Cage in his arms, and I watched him just stretch his back, arch his back. And I just remember from all 3 of them, now 2 of them writing me notes, what it looks like when number 2 becomes the priority. Sure enough, what happened, Chris?
Boom. Took a giant dump right in my arm.
That's on our YouTube feed.
And then I quickly handed him back off.
See ya.
That's life. That's life. And again, thank you to everybody out there on the front lines in healthcare that allows us to have fun like that. 844-204-RICH, number to dial here on the Rich Eisen Show. Your calls and Jaylen Hertz, hour number 2. Sure. Well.
It's awesome.
It's just a great.
I love it.
She lost a tooth last night. She pulled it out herself. Bottom one. Came right out.
Dang.
Okay, let's have some fun. John C. Reilly and Will Ferrell came in to promote Holmes and Watson, right? Watson and Holmes?
That's right.
That's what it was. Watson and Holmes. Okay. Let's have some fun with those guys when they stop by. Will Ferrell and John C. Reilly. Good to see you, gentlemen, right here.
Very much. Very much good to see you, too, Rich.
Yeah, right back at you.
Yeah.
Great to see everyone. Not just you, Rich.
I have a friend who, when he sees someone coming towards him, like in a room that he's supposed to know, he can tell, I'm supposed to know this person, but I don't. He goes, there he is. There he is.
How are you as a ref, though?
I'm strictly what's called an AR, assistant referee. So I'm the guy who runs on the sideline with the flag.
I thought AR meant whole ref.
Well, that's what.
The shorts are pretty short, too. I mean, they're stocked in length right there.
Look at that ample thigh.
That's a ham hock right there.
Look at that. That's ready for market.
So
you might want to smoke that for a couple days.
You guys want a slice?
Put some hickory around it. You know what I would genuinely love for you as a second career, if you ever decided you wanted a second career? Finally be a broadcaster. Be someone who's calling color. Right?
Rich, maybe you could give me a break.
I mean, that would boost ratings for whatever sport you were talking about.
What if I took over the Rich Eisen Show? Yes. Ron Burgundy did help announce the National Curling Finals in Ottawa, Canada. And they had all these ads for Tim Hortons Coffee, which is a big coffee chain for our Canadian listeners. And I just kept saying, all the signage, I'm like, who the hell is Tim Horton? Who does he think he is?
Is there any possibility that we see a Step Brothers sequel?
We haven't never talked about this face-to-face in public.
No, we haven't.
So let's break some ground here. Are we going to do Step Brothers too?
I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to happen either. That's what I thought.
Yeah.
Put up the Photoshop anyway.
Oh, you make sense in that world somehow, Rich.
What we're gonna do right. What we're gonna do right here is go back into time.
Previously on the Rich Eisen Show.
Even when you talk about the commissioner from Rob Manfred from Major League Baseball, that even when it does return, that those dates are in June, you then look at the calendar and realize you're still in March, so you've got all of April and all of May before you get to June. And maybe we'll get games. Now, I'm not trying to be the wet blanket. The wet blanket is COVID-19. I'm just really starting to grasp how long this is going to be.
Another Rich Eisen Show is coming at you right now.
Y'all ready for this?
This is the Rich Eisen Show.
Feeling like an animal, living in the zoo. My friends text me, I'm like, don't come through.
Live from the Rich Eisen Show studio in Los Angeles.
Yeah, I'm living like a loser, only hang with my producer.
Heard nationwide, televised online at richeisenshow.com.
I think it's impossible to play without fans.
Wait till y'all see me and my teammates' handshakes after this.
Earlier on the show, New Orleans Saints wide receiver Emmanuel Sanders. Coming up, Oklahoma quarterback Jaylen Hertz, 12-year NBA veteran Rex Chapman. And now, it's Rich Eisen.
Hour number 2 of the Rich Eisen Show live on the air. We're sitting in our studio. We're practicing social distancing here. We're all far enough away from each other. There literally is less than 10 people in our entire operation, so we're trying to do the right thing while also being here for you. We hope you're enjoying this program, youtube.com/Rich Eisen Show if you want to watch it, and check me out in mauve. I'm wearing a very nice sweater, I have to say. There are no patches on it.
Check me out in mauve.
Yeah, check me out in mauve. Back in mauve.
It sounds like a Wu-Tang album.
There you go, back in mauve. Well, Wu-Tang, just like me, from Staten Island. That's one of my favorite lines in the history of the Larry Sanders Show, when Artie said, we have Wu-Tang Clan on tonight, Staten Island's streetwise troubadours. That's how he referred. The Wu-Tang Clan.
The Wu-Tang Clan.
That's my man right there.
That is, indeed. That's Method Man when he was here on this show.
M-E-T-H-O-D.
When Brockman dared, you did not uncork until I forced you to, your idea that Staten Island is technically not part of New York City because it's the fifth and forgotten borough.
Yeah.
And he was not pleased with you.
I'll bust that out with you anytime.
But not Method Man.
Not when Method Man is staring a hole through me.
Makes sense. We had Emmanuel Sanders on in hour number 1, the new Saints receiver, talking about how he kicked the tires on Green Bay.
Interesting.
Gave San Francisco a shot, I guess, at keeping him. Yeah. But it's a 2-year deal to catch passes from Drew Brees. By the way, game of the year, regular season, 2019, New Orleans, San Francisco, correct?
Yes.
Right? The one where Kittle made that remarkable dash towards the end.
That was one of the plays of the year.
Right? One of the games of the year. I mean, that was an incredible game. Saints and 49ers. So he said that he didn't talk to Sean Payton. He texted with him. I'm wondering if that had to do with the fact that Payton was battling coronavirus at the time. If you put 2 and 2 together, and Sean Payton is been cleared, by the way. I wouldn't want to let everyone know about that he's feeling better, and he has been cleared. And he's tweeting stuff out. So
he's doing a little playbook.
Yep, there he is. He's tweeting out plays right there. Got to get A. Kamara 6 a touch. Yeah, a little late, Sean. I told you I had him in fantasy 2 years ago. Kept giving the ball to Mark Ingram instead. We taught Sean Payton the term vulturing.
Yeah, he didn't know
in
what that
fantasy
meant.
football.
I know.
I let him know. Come on. But it's great that he's feeling well and he's back in the mix. And Emmanuel Sanders, I gave him every shot to bury Jimmy G with faint praise through the concept that the Niners were kicking the tires on Tom Brady were interested in making a large conversation piece a reality. The conversation piece being, as we were leading up to the free agency week, that Tom Brady wanted to go to San Francisco or be a great fit in San Francisco. Deion Sanders talked about it at length on live NFL Network combine coverage this Sunday. the final day of that combine coverage, that the 49ers would be a perfect fit for Brady and maybe a nice little NBA-style sign and trade, sending Garoppolo to the Patriots, which I proffer to say right now, Patriots fans looking at Jarrett Stidham and Brian Hoyer saying, you know what, that's not a bad idea. Let's go higher register.
Man, that really started something, though, when Deion said that.
I know. Well, a lot of people were talking about it, even off air. I mean, that's something that I heard about.
Publicly.
Right. He put it out there, and there was a lot of conversation, and then the 49ers didn't do anything to basically say, Jimmy G's our guy, everybody move on. They just didn't address it. They didn't address it. So I gave Emmanuel every shot when I said, hey, this was the conversation. The 49ers had soured on Jimmy G because they ran the ball to the Super Bowl, essentially, after he threw an interception against the Vikings in the divisional playoff game that they eventually won. He threw the ball, I think, a grand total of 15 times in the last half of that game and then the entire NFC Championship game that got them to the Super Bowl. That plus Jimmy G airmailing Emmanuel Sanders himself towards the end of the Super Bowl equals this big fat rumor that gained a lot of steam. Put it before him, said, hey, man, what do you think? And he gave a full-throated response saying how much he loved Jimmy Garoppolo, how special he is, how everybody's got to cut him some slack, that in his first full year of being a starting quarterback from week 1 to week last, he took his team to the Super Bowl coming back from an ACL injury after he won all 6 of his games when he first took over the reins in the middle of a season. The year before that, everybody back off, essentially, let him be himself. He never gets down. He doesn't go in the tank. And he could have easily said stuff like, hey, look, Tom Brady's Tom Brady. Could you blame San Francisco? I don't know if they went in that direction.
Right.
Hey, Tom Brady's from that area. I mean, look, the Chargers gave it a shot and then went back into a different plan. I don't know if they did that. I mean, he didn't do any of that.
Yeah, there are code words he could have used.
He could have absolutely done that, and he's savvy enough to do that because he's been a veteran in this league, and he's also sat towards the end of NFL Game Day morning set from me twice during playoff shows in previous years. He's that good. He didn't do it. So I guess there really is no there. 844-204-RICH is the number to dial. Let's take some of your phone calls here. We've had a conversation today on, I guess, Apple coming up with technology to allow somebody to unsend a text. I send you a text. It's talking crap about you.
Right. Oh, no.
Oh, I didn't mean to do that. I meant it to send to another friend who I talk about you crappily.
Yes.
And I hit an unsend button, a take back button, takes it back. Retract the text. What sports moment in your life would you like to retract? I asked that of Emmanuel Sanders, and his answer was that play in the Super Bowl, which you also walked us through. Go to our YouTube feed, youtube.com/Rich Eisen Show to hear all of that. Let's go to the phone lines on this front. Our buddy Jeff in Detroit. How you feeling, Jeff? Everybody good in your household, your family?
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. We're staying safe and sanitized.
Glad to hear that.
First of all, to you guys, thank you for being on the air as a deterrent right now because things are really, really going, crazy. A lot of my brethren from DPD who are on the front lines have been quarantined. Some of my coworkers have passed away from this illness.
Oh, I'm so sorry to hear
just like
that.
anything else that happens, we are all going to get through it. Humanity will prevail. We're going to just have to get used to a new normal out here. And I really appreciate you, the people that get up every day to try to do something about it, like make us look in a different direction or, give us something else to know on besides the virus, this, that, and the other. So I really want to appreciate and thank you to all of the first responders out there. They should be getting hazard pay, most definitely.
Agreed.
Well, as far as your question goes, my uncle, me and you both know, when Chris Webber turned around and hit them hands together and called time out, I am still upset about that. That was one of the most hurtful situations because we were right there, the Fab Five, Michigan uniform. They changed the landscape of basketball. Then, boom, calls time out, and we lose.
I would love to hit unsend on that one, too, man. Oh, and I'm sure C-Web would love to do that as well. And he's just that's a good one, Jeff. I thought you were going to say Barry Sanders saying he wants to retire. I thought you'd want to hit on take back on that one.
I mean, mean, that just pretty much comes. And somebody check Robert Ory and don't let him get loose for the three with the Pistons in San Antonio in that series. We supposed to add that one as well. Was it? Yeah, it was bad.
Well, Jeff, thanks for the call. Love you, man, and stay safe, stay healthy. As long as we are and we can be here, we'll do it. And thanks for the call, and my condolences on the loss of some of your colleagues. Horrible. Yeah, I'd hit unsend. I'd hit the unsend on the timeout. I'd hit unsend on. I could just do Michigan athletics alone. I'd hit unsend. We could do a poll question just for Michigan athletics.
Which one would you unsend?
C-Webb.
Yeah.
Cordell
Stewart. Yeah.
The punt.
The Michigan State punt.
Against Michigan State.
Yeah, and then the first down.
The first Appalachian State.
Oh, Appalachian
That's a good one,
State?
Bowie,
Okay.
because that changed. Don Bowie, just our coordinating producer, got me. That changed so much. That got the fan base to say Lloyd's got to get out of here. We got to get Lloyd Carr out. And then Rich Rod came in, and we all know that didn't work. And by the way, Lloyd Carr, do you know Lloyd Carr's last game as Michigan coach was Rich Rod was already on the sidelines wearing a Michigan hat. It was a bowl game. He beat Tim Tebow and Urban Meyer going 5 wide. The 3-yard in a cloud of dust was thrown out the window. Look up Lloyd Carr's last game as head coach of the University of Michigan. Beat Tim Tebow, Florida, and Urban Meyer in a bowl game as he went out the door.
So 2007 Capital One Bowl.
Yep. Who'd he beat?
2007 Capital One Bowl beat Florida 41-35.
And that would be coached by Urban Meyer.
Florida was ranked number 9 that year.
And quarterbacked by Tim Tebow. Yes, sir. Didn't know how good we had it on the 2007 Capital One Bowl,
That was Percy Harvin, Tim Tebow. That was that whole.
Oh, yes, it was.
That dominating
Michigan put
game.
up 41. They went 5 wide. And Lloyd was basically like, I'll show you 3 yards in a cloud of dust. You want me out of here?
Chad Henne had 373 yards.
Yes,
Mike Hart had 129 yards on the ground.
They did.
Oh, baby.
Let's go to Kevin in California, 844-204-RICH, number to dial. What's up, Kevin?
Yes, sir. First and foremost, I want to say thank you guys. Same thing as Jeff before. Thank you guys for being on the air and giving us something different to listen to.
My pleasure.
I want to talk about the Broncos against Baltimore, that 70-yard bomb that Joe Flacco threw over the outstretched hand of Raheem Moore.
That's right.
To Jacoby Jones to win the divisional, go on to the Super Bowl, I think, that year.
Well, but the Ravens would want you to not unsend that because that was the end. That's what sparked it. That's what absolutely sparked it.
Right.
Oh, man. That's not a bad one. That's a good one. Thanks for the call, man. That's a good one.
That's a good one.
Hit unsend.
I remember that.
How did that happen? I could not believe
I think
that
I was
the
doing the
Broncos got
highlight
beaten
that
deep.
night for NFL Network.
Did you really?
I think that was mine, yeah.
I could not believe that he got deep. But when that happened, Joe Flacco, by the way, one of the greatest postseasons in the history of quarterbacking. I think he had something along the lines of like 15 touchdowns, no interceptions.
It might have been 12. Stand by. Hold on.
Look that up at you can profootballreference.com, that bad boy. Let's go to Matt in Minnesota. Matt in Minnesota, you're here on the Rich Eisen Show.
Hey, guys. Well, listen, 2 out of your last 3 callers, along with Jeff and myself, Michigan/Detroit fans. So go Blue, Jeff. I always love hearing, go Blue, Rich.
Thank you. It's
I
all
always
good.
love hearing Jeff, you guys. I hear him on Dan Patrick. I always love when he calls in. He's got a lot of energy.
He's diehard. He's a diehard fan, man, and we love him. So
do I. You guys, you covered all of my take it backs because I was going to say Cordell to Michael Westbrook.
Yep.
I don't know when that was, 85 or, but you guys have covered them all. But if you don't mind, I wanted to give you a take on something you talked about earlier, the Lions with the 3rd pick, and there's a Jaylen Hertz angle to it as well.
Okay.
This is how I think it's going to go, you guys. We already have an extra 3rd and extra 5th from the Darius Slay trade. I am literally praying because they can't screw this draft up. If Quintricia screws this up, then I'm going to go there myself and fire him. If they need the Chargers to make it known that they want Tua, so it forces Miami to deal with this. They have the ammunition. I don't think the Chargers have it. So we make the trade with the Dolphins. We still get Jeff Okudah at 5. We get the extra pick. Then, and I called into my Detroit station on this, and they disagreed. I love Jaylen Hertz. I don't know that he's a great starting quarterback, but he's athletic, a winner, great character. We take those extra draft picks, and I'm hoping he stays around till the end of the third. You guys let me know where you think he's going to go.
I don't think he is. We could stop you there. He's not a third-round pick, I don't think. I think he's a second-round pick at the very...
Oh, you do? See, Rich,
do.
I'm hoping he lasts a little longer. I might be wrong, but we use the extra picks. We hopefully get him in the third round, sit him behind Stafford. It would be perfect. Use him as a Taysom Hill until then, and just see what you have. I love the guy. I hope we get him. That's how I want the Lions draft to go. Thanks for being on, guys.
Right back at you. Right back at you.
Good, brother.
The biggest kaboom would be if they just trade Stafford.
Right. To New England.
To New England. You'd raise your hand for him immediately?
Yeah, I would take him
and just
first
start from absolute scratch.
He's only 30 years old.
I know
he
that.
can still have 10 more years.
That's the reason why you don't trade him. And he's also a face of your franchise, and the state knows him and his wife, and they are part of the fabric there.
I don't think you can trade him, but Matt was having a great year last year until he got injured.
That is correct. He was having his best year, period.
He was awesome.
I agree.
I had him in fantasy.
But I don't think Jaylen Hertz is going to be around very long on that Friday night.
Second round. Joe Flacco, 11 touchdowns, 0 interceptions.
There you go.
About a 115 passer rating.
844-204-RICH, number to dial. Let's get to Jaylen Hertz on time. Jaylen Hertz, the Oklahoma Sooner / Alabama Crimson Tide, and Heisman Trophy runner-up. Next here on The Rich Eisen Show. Okay. Don, will you put up Jaylen Hertz's combine numbers, if you don't mind, just in advance of this whole thing? Look at that, man. 4.54. Avert the broad. 6'1", 222. I mean, if we're going in the direction we're seeing this league going, how do you not give this kid who's just aces?
He's like
off the field,
bigger version of Kyler Murray, right? Couple inches taller, 20 pounds heavier.
Well, who's the coach that said, "Why don't you come here and start for me"?
Yeah.
There you go. Fluid action, all natural, confident. It is rare, man.
Fluid action.
Fluid action, great band, right?
Great band.
Did they have?
Was that hair? Were they 80s hair metal, Mike?
Was that
Fluid
80s hair metal? Fluid action?
No. They were late 60s, early 70s.
Oh.
Fluid action, man. It was like the hippies.
Yeah, man.
They were a hippie band.
They were fluid action, man.
Fluid action.
TJ, we got some bots, buddy.
Uh-oh. I'm going in.
Oh, my
God. I got him. I'm in.
Get him out of there.
I'm in.
What is the matter with people?
I mean, they're just...
I'm on it, too.
They're just bots.
I love them. I love the names.
Good point. You're talking about the Michigan take back. How about what would Saints fans take back just from the last 3 years?
You can only take back one. I think it would be the pass interference.
You think so?
Well, the other ones don't.
What year would they have a better chance to win the Super Bowl, I guess?
Well, the year in which they were one game away from the Super Bowl if the pass interference thing didn't get called.
Yeah, that's true.
The other ones
would they have been at home for the Eagles?
Were in divisional rounds, man.
No, they would have been at Philadelphia, right? Philly was the 1 seed.
The Minneapolis Miracle is the one that, although seeing the contact directly in front of you and not throwing the flag,
that was insane.
By the way, the owners' meeting is going down today by conference call in a way, and there's 2 votes. Neither of them today are any of the competition committee stuff. But I'm expecting in the next 48 hours, may the pass interference rule being challengeable rest in peace. I believe that's about to happen. What a mess that was. The thing that it didn't have to be a mess. It could have literally been applied better, but it just was so. It was. I don't think anybody wanted it when it came down to it. But that's about to happen. Oh, look what Brady's doing. Watching NFL Network.
No, that was Fox yesterday. Showed Super Bowl 52. Was it 51? 51, the Falcons, Pats comeback.
I remember halftime of that game. Going to my Twitter feed. Marshall Faulk was to my right. and it was filled with "Where's Jimmy G?" Brady's washed.
So Sarah, obviously Falcons fan,
I know,
was at the game.
Mm-hmm.
I came home watching it with some friends, talked to her at halftime. It's 21-3, and I was just like, enjoy it. Winning a Super Bowl is amazing. Like,
and she was
that
like,
doesn't
shut
happen.
up, right? She's like, shut up.
No,
right?
she was just like, I'm just going to try to enjoy the second half. I'm really emotional.
And then it was 28-3.
Then the pick six happened, and it's 28-3.
It was, get him out of there. He's washed.
Oh,
the whole Twitter feed.
The pick six was like.
I won a good bet in the truck for that one.
What do you mean?
I bet they were coming back right as soon as they scored that first. Said, they're coming back.
Well, that's the. You could do our what do you take back? Can we get Sarah on the phone to answer what she would take back from Atlanta, or she's just today's not a good day?
I was only watching that yesterday because she ran out of the house to the store real quick, and so I was watching the game while she was gone, and changed it before she got back.
No, but just as an Atlanta fan, not Falcons.
Oh, which Atlanta fan? Just the Brave stuff and the. I don't know. I can ask her. Still touchy.
I know. By the way, asking somebody
touchy.
Well, I don't want to get any. Look, I mean, I remember,
newborn situation. Yeah.
Hey, do you want to get on the phone and call in about the worst moments in your sports life that you'd love to take back?
Fluid Action's first single, newborn situation.
Fluid Action's first single, newborn situation. I like it. All right, we'll be back. 844-204-RICH. Can't wait to chat with Jaylen Hertz. Welcome back to the Rich Eisen Show, 844-204-RICH, number to dial. I'm excited to see what this young man's going to do at the next level, because what a college football career that he had. SEC Freshman of the Year in 2016, making his way through the Alabama Crimson Tide program, and then wound up in Oklahoma last year, a Heisman Trophy runner-up. He blew the doors off the combine. He is Jaylen Hertz here on the Rich Eisen Show. How you doing, Jaylen?
I'm doing well. I can't complain. How about yourself?
I am better for talking to you. I'll be honest with you. I don't know how, I don't think we've ever spoken before. And, I have been an admirer of yours from afar, and the way that you have handled your business and gone about things. So I'm appreciative of the phone call into this program.
I appreciate you.
You bet. Thank you. Let's go walking into it this is obviously one of the most awful times that's going on in our world, in our country, and you, with your football career, kind of caught in the middle of it, just like everybody else. Everybody happy and healthy in your orbit? Let's start with that one, Jaylen. Everybody good?
Sir. Yes, sir. I'm blessed to say my family's good. As of now, I mean, just trying to take the right precautions and be safe, and really enjoy this time with my family.
Okay.
Honestly.
And so what are you doing in terms of talking to teams? Walk me through how that process is right now for you, Jaylen.
Yeah, so kind of like my entire journey. This is another unprecedented aspect. It's unprecedented to see what the world is going through right now. But in terms of me staying communicated with teams, I've been doing FaceTime calls with GMs and coaches, and doing Zoom calls with coaches as well, talking ball and doing different things like that. So keeping me very busy with those things. So that's definitely a good thing. So I'm just, controlling what I can like I always have, and moving forward every day, seeing where this thing goes.
Which teams have you virtually visited with then? Which ones have you talked to?
I like to be discreet. I've talked to a lot of teams. Every team I've visited with throughout this process so far. I've had maybe I've had a good number of visits on Zoom and FaceTime. I'll just say that.
Okay. So any of the teams that you've had a Zoom or a FaceTime chat with, being head coached by a multiple Super Bowl winning coach who's tight with Nick Saban? Have you had a coach conversation with that?
No comment.
Okay. Oh. I got a Patriot fan on the other side. Do you plead the fifth like Tom Brady, Jaylen? So you just did right there.
No comment.
Okay. So what questions are you asked? I mean, what more do you need to, in your estimation, put out there that you're being asked about?
Well, Rich, it's a process, and it's something that I've never experienced, and they pretty much just ask me questions to try and get a better feel of who I am, as a person, as a leader, and they ask about ball, right? So it's very unique in my position because I've had so many different offensive coordinators, and I've been around so many great minds in the game. So these coaches simply want to, know what I know. They know I know ball. They know I've been well taught from each and every coach. So me spitting back the things that I know and showing them, that I'm a student of the game and I'm very knowledgeable what I know and what I'm doing.
Jaylen Hertz here on the Rich Eisen Show. What was the toughest part of your journey, Jaylen?
I'd say, the artist, the old. I got an old soul. I'll just tell you that.
Okay.
The old artist Frankie Beverly.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. See, it's the joys and pains of life, and they always come. And we got to expect those things, and it's always about how we respond to the given situations we're handed. And I think everything, just the ups, the downs, been lessons for me where I've learned so many things and been able to learn from the situations I've been in, whether you talk about being down in the game, or coming up short in the game or whatever it was, I was able to learn from all those things and become stronger, wiser, and better from it.
Well, what'd you learn?
Somebody asked me the other day, what's the most memorable thing of your college career? And I told them, I said, losing that championship my freshman year. I said, that's something that I'll never, ever forget, and those things like that, games like that, they motivate me. You don't forget the ones you lose, that's for sure. So.
Well, I mean, you ran one in from we're all talking about the Hunter Renfrow touchdown, but you ran one in from 30 yards out with 2 and change to go to put Alabama up, and I'm wondering, do you ever want to beat your chest a little bit more than you do, Jaylen?
Well, I got a lot of respect. I still have a lot of respect for that guy on the other sideline, Deshaun Watson. When I ran that touchdown in, I ran it in, and I said, damn, that may be too much time, 2 minutes, too much time.
Right.
But, like you just said, Rich, I'm very confident in myself and what I do, and I know the work that I put in to get the things and come as far as I've come today. I'm not the easiest person when it comes to reflecting on the past or, I guess, maybe pat myself on the back. I enjoy all things. I enjoy winning. But I just kind of keep the main thing, just, move forward with it,
So before I do move forward with it for you in a second, though, why did you stay at Alabama? Did you at any moment think, after Tua came in and won that championship game, and then there was conversation, with the whole famous quit asking moment with Nick Saban, did you ever think of, like, I'm out of here, I got to get out of here?
There were thoughts. I think not for me, but people around me, and people wanted to see me, be in a position where I could flourish, and even my teammates around me, they were like, why are you still here? I'm like, I'm here for you guys, But it was an unprecedented situation. You know, that's something that you've never seen happen before. And, you know, I think it all happened for a reason, you know, and me deciding to stay at Alabama, I wouldn't change that decision for the world.
And what did you learn about yourself then?
It taught me patience. It taught me patience, and it also taught me to have a new, profound appreciation for the game and for what I do, taking pride in everything and all of that. It just took another a step in growth. So an appreciation for the game and appreciating every moment, I say is very important to me.
Jaylen Hertz here on the Rich Eisen Show. So why Oklahoma? I know probably the answers to it, but walk me through that process. Your phone rings, or did you reach out? Walk me through how that all went down, Jaylen.
Yeah, so, you know, my entire process in terms of my second recruitment, being a grad transfer, it was different. You know, it was a 2 to 3 day process, and I'm talking to all these schools across the country. And I mean, everybody's calling and got in touch with Coach Riley, and he reached out to me, and you know, we had conversations, and I think one of the most pivotal things was going somewhere, you know, and wanting to win. And you know, I had a conversation with Coach Saban, a great conversation, and you know, he's like, well, I think you should go to the school that has the best players, you know, and I said. He asked me what schools were interested in. I mentioned Oklahoma being one of the schools. And he's like, well, it looks like you know where you're going. I said, yeah. I said, I already knew where I wanted to go, but, you know, just double-checking with him and having conversations with my family. And ended up going there, building a great relationship with the players there and Coach Riley, and went on to have a very successful year with the Sooners.
What'd you learn from Riley? How did your game grow at Oklahoma, Jaylen Hertz?
Yes, I think my junior year was very pivotal. I will start by saying that being with Coach Mike Loxley and Coach Dan Enos, taking those steps as a quarterback, and I'm seeing the game differently, you know. And then going to Oklahoma, you know, given all the success Coach Riley has had with Kyler and Baker, and two great quarterbacks, Oklahoma legends, and me being able to go there and seeing how Coach Riley does and teaches the game of football there. A very unique approach to it, very different from what I was accustomed to at Alabama the previous 3 years. But, I mean, big on being decisive and just going out there and playing, you know. And I think me going to Oklahoma kind of brought a different, I wouldn't say tenacity, but brought a different type of toughness, and we tried to create a different standard there at Oklahoma, and I mean, you see how well our defense played, and you see the toughness we play with our offense, and all those things, and those are things Oklahoma's always been known for in terms of, you know, putting up numbers offensively and all those things. But I think it was just a great feel for the team and putting all those different variables together. So it was a great and exciting year.
Did I see one time after a game you just hit the weight room that you were just did I see that? Was that a regular thing for you, Jaylen, for you to lead by example? I mean, where did I see that this year?
Rich, I think that was a deal where I wanted to create something new at Oklahoma. And there would be things that I did at Alabama, kind of my own little tradition or thing I do weekly. And I think, you know, working out after games was something that I wanted to do at Oklahoma. And it's amazing, you know, when you do things like that, you see people, you know, begin to follow you and join you after those games to do all those things. So when you see that you're having an impact, you know, on a group of guys and, you know, just trying to do things the right way, it's great to see. It's all for a great purpose.
All right, before I let you go, Jaylen Hertz, I'm going to give you the floor. What does an NFL team get with Jaylen Hertz?
Well, I'm a dog, a relentless competitor, and I'm going to work my tail off every day, try to win ball games. I mean, I've done a pretty good job of that, and just most importantly, impacting the people around me to my best ability. I think that's the biggest thing is can a guy impact guys and bring guys with him, and just bring a presence about himself to the organization and to the program. So, I'm looking forward to what the future holds for me, and I'll just continue to work my tail off and try to take steps every day to be the best player, quarterback, and man I can be.
Well, today on our show, Jaylen, we've been asking people because the people at Apple have come up with an idea that you can take back, you can retract a text that you send somebody. We decided to put that in the sports term. If you could take back, even if it's something from your youth, a team you rooted for, a sports moment in your life, whether it's you personally, anything you did at Alabama or Oklahoma or any team you rooted for, what would that one thing be if you could hit an unsend button on something?
That's a great question. It probably have to be like Little League baseball.
Really? Well, what happened?
I used to pitch.
Okay.
And I think I gave up a dinger in the game, a dinger on a walk-off. So I little stuff like that I don't forget. Playing out there in North Channel Little League, East Houston, over there in the North Shore area, and doing all those things. I won't forget those things. I won't forget those things. Being a ball boy as a kid out there at my dad's games and seeing some of the games they won and lost and all those things. As a kid, man, you look up to all those guys, those high school ball players, and you just want to see them succeed. So I definitely could take some of those back too. Some of those losses.
Jaylen, you played in national championship games, plural, and you're talking Little League? That's where you're going to hit unsend on that? That's amazing that you got that long memory like that.
I don't forget stuff now.
I bet.
I think the national championships and all the championships I've been blessed enough to play for, and obviously the 4 games that I've come up short in, I think those are the obvious ones. But
I thought it would be one moment that you pissed Saban off in a way. That you'd like to hit unsaban on that, unsaban, unsend or whatever. What's the angriest you've ever seen, Coach?
So Saban really never he never got on me. He scream and yell and he chewed me out at times, but I just say yes sir and move on, keep it moving. The guys that talk back and got something to say all the time, those are usually guys that end up in the doghouse. So
people would sass back to Nick Saban. Who did that?
Oh man, I ain't gonna say no names.
You can plead the fifth there too. I guess we come full circle in this conversation. Hey, Jaylen,
yes,
thanks for the call. I meant what I said at the start. I mean, I watched how you went about your business again and how many, many times you were dealt a hand that, I'll be honest with you, you didn't deserve, and how you handled everything. And now here you are on the precipice of joining the NFL. I cannot wait to see who rightfully takes a card, scrawls your name on it, makes an announcement, and see what you do at the next level. I want to be part of that journey, Jaylen, so look for my call.
I appreciate you. It'll be special. I had a question for you, Rich.
Okay.
If you don't,
go for it.
I always see, everybody sees the Run Rich Run stuff.
Yep.
I'm a fan of stuff like that, and I was interested in asking you, how did that campaign come about? I mean, I've always admired you from a distance for that.
Thank you, Jaylen. That means a lot. It started with me running in 2005 at that combine out of sheer boredom. I'm waiting to do a broadcast on NFL Network. I'm sitting next to future Hall of Famer Terrell Davis. I'm sitting there in my suit and tie, and I asked Terrell, TD, I said, hey, how fast do you think I can run the 40? He laughed at me. I cursed at him, and then I went right down on the field. And I ran it and had no idea that the NFL Network crew in the truck that I thought was on break was recording it, and they showed it to me that night.
Wow.
And surprised me with it, and coaches and general managers kept asking, they wanted to see it, and I did it year after year after year. And then a member of NFL Network's management group. Her name was Sarah Swanson. She now works overseas at NFL UK. And she's like, hey, how would you like to add a charitable component to this? And I was all over that. And St. Jude Children's Research Hospital was the choice for many reasons. They were already associated with the NFL, and they do angels work. And the rest is now, I guess, history in that regard. And it's one of the most rewarding things I've ever been a part of. My wife has always been on me to say, you've got a platform, you should do more, you should do charitable work. And it gets me emotional just talking about it.
Man, that's a great thing, man. I applaud you for it. And you don't know how big of an impact that is on a lot of people.
Wow.
A lot of people. So
I appreciate that. I appreciate that, especially since, your 40-yard dash time 4.54 is unfortunately my Uber rating. So the fact that you think that I've got good karma, I appreciate.
Oh, man, you're my type of guy. You know that?
Right back at you, Jaylen. Right back at you. Good luck. Let's keep in touch, okay?
Yes, sir. Have a good one.
Right back at you. You got it. That's Jaylen Hertz. Right here on The Rich Eisen Show.
Please come to New
England. Oh, my God. Who doesn't want him?
Please come to New England.
Oh, my God. Who says no to that?
Oh, my God.
Who says no to somebody who's like, I'm a dog. I'm going to Oklahoma, and I'm going to try and change the culture there. Change the culture. Lincoln Riley's one of the winningest coaches. Oklahoma's one of the winningest programs.
Back-to-back Heisman winners.
And he's like, you know what? I'm going to put my own stamp here. I'm going to go work out after games. I'm going to show that I'm about it. I'm going to walk it and talk it and then walk it. Even though college football fates have handed me a tough hand sometimes. Like, I'm winning a national championship game in one of the most amazing national championship games that we've seen in many different years by running one in from 30 yards out with 2 minutes to go to beat Clemson and Deshaun Watson, only to have that wiped away because of Clemson winning with mere seconds to go on the clock. And something that Alabama fans are still screaming about being a pick play. And he's in a national championship game the next year, and all of a sudden Tua gets the gig halfway through. Loses his starting job. He doesn't run off. He stays put. He graduates. Then he goes to Oklahoma. Who doesn't want a piece of that? And I asked him, just for you, Chris, because I love you. Out of all the teams that you've been FaceTiming and Zooming with, perhaps is one of them? Get the drop ready, Mike, because it's a Tom Brady Patriot drop. Is one of them a head coach with multiple Super Bowl rings? Is tight with Nick Saban? That's what he basically said.
Which means
yes. He said no comment.
Which means yes.
Dude, that would be the answer.
Is the 23rd overall pick too early for this kid?
I don't know, but you hear that over a Zoom and a FaceTime, and I'm an owner, I'm a general manager. I'm like, we got to talk about it.
Because New England doesn't have a second-round pick.
Guess what? This guy's not available in the third round.
That's what I'm saying.
That's history.
That's what I'm saying.
844-204-RICH, number to dial here on The Rich Eisen Show. Take your phone calls and more in a moment. Right? Come on.
New England picks at 23 and then not again until 87.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Dude.
New England has 87 and then compensatory picks 98, 100 in the third round. No second round pick.
I don't think Cam's going to sign for another month, by the way. I think this draft's going to go down, and then we'll see what's what.
Cam Newton will not be on a team when the draft takes place.
Correct.
Ooh, baby.
Correct.
If it means another month of all these videos and pics, I'm all in. Because they've been great. Black and white is cool font.
If it means more umlauts, I'm all in.
Settle down just a little bit.
Thank you.
So what it is, Rich, is that Cam is owner of an app called I Post My Way, where you can create a customizable keyboard.
Oh.
And so that's what he posted.
Do we need Rich Eisen show font? Are we going to get on that, TJ? You want to get on that? Rich Eisen show
Looking
font?
into it? Efforting.
Right now, he's on the
Bob Patrol.
It's out of control.
Man, huh? What a great chat that was, wasn't it?
That was great.
Dude, he's talked to the Patriots.
Yes, he has. No doubt.
Why wouldn't they knock on his door? 23rd overall that's a tall order, Nordberg, to use the police squad phrase.
Nice.
That's
what
a
if
tall
they
order.
move down and
the Patriots
take him
need
at the
more.
end of the? The Patriots are definitely trading out at 23.
But dude, how often does Bill Belichick trade down? Like every second
That's
of the
what
day?
I mean.
Right.
So the Patriots won't pick at 23, but if they trade down and maybe take him at like 36,
why not?
Something like that. One of those picks in the 30s in the second round.
Yeah,
sign me up. And then let him and Stidham go at it in training camp and see what happens.
And Brian Hoyer's playing the dad, keeping him apart.
Yeah, Hoyer's kind of mediating the QB room with McDaniels. I'm okay with that.
And then Stidham gets the role, and then in role reversal, Jaylen gets the start because Jalen's threatening to transfer to another team.
Nice. That's Auburn, Alabama.
By the way, I know Auburn, Alabama, right there, huh? Little SEC room with Michigan State in the middle.
State, yeah. And where'd McDaniels go? Somewhere in Ohio, right?
Who?
Josh McDaniels.
Like, where did he go to college?
Yeah.
You got me there, brother. I don't know. 844-204-RICH is the number to dial for all you in the 454 wormhole. For all you folks out there, we appreciate being here today, and we're going to be washing our hands quite a bit. You guys wiped down your desks, right? We're all good?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Heavy wipe down of the Lysol.
Very good. Drake's got a kid, huh?
Yeah.
Yes. Well, that's been known. Well, I leaked out in a Pusha T song. But
by the way, interestingly enough, that's how everybody found out about Cooper, our middle child. DJ liked that one, huh?
SVP released a rap album that outed you with a middle child?
No, it was Pusha T.
Oh, okay.
Same thing.
Yeah, how you doing there? This is Mo the bartender.
Thank you very much.
From The Simpsons over in Springfield. Stay out of the bars, people. Come on. Social distancing.
All
I
right.
tell you this.
We'll take a break. We're back in a second.
Eating takeout food and staying away from people. My life is about to dramatically stay exactly the same as it was.
Welcome back to the Rich Eisen Show. What a great chat with Jaylen Hertz. Man, oh man, oh man. I'm even more head over heels for that kid.
It was like
man.
after we met Tua at the Super Bowl this
Can you
year.
imagine? By the way, great quarterback room. Tua and Hertz, Saban. There's just nobody like him. He's the best.
I really
There's
wanted
nobody
Jalen Hertz to out whoever was arguing with Nick Saban.
Who would dare just like give it back to him?
Why would you do that?
What?
That would have been great.
I got a wild card name in the Patriots quarterback race.
Okay.
That you sitting here right now are not expecting to come through. You are not expecting to be viable.
Is it a player currently in the NFL or is it a prospective draftee?
It's a player currently on the Patriots. The name is Jarrett Stidham. You are not giving any credence to it at all.
Well, I saw him play one snap last year, and he threw a pick six
to the Jets.
And so,
and Cody Kessler got signed as a result.
That was really all I needed to see.
And Brady, who had already been pulled, sat next to the Gatorade in that game, was told to put a helmet back on and get back in the game.
Yeah.
And so that's our frame of reference.
Right. But I watched him play at Auburn, he was great.
How about this frame of reference?
we'll
How about this frame of reference? The guy who was told to get his helmet and get back in the game, once upon a time, was replacing a legend in New England.
First overall pick.
Okay. One of the items that you can see on our Zoom shows from last week that you check on youtube.com/Rich Eisen show is a lithograph that Mike Del Tufo yanked off his wall or wherever he had it of all these great quarterbacks in the 90s.
Was that hanging up somewhere? Did you?
Oh, yeah, it was hanging in the office.
And Bledsoe was on there.
Bledsoe was on there instead of Brady. Oh.
Well, I mean, because
when did you get that?
Literally, probably that year.
Oh, really? Well, because it was about the 90s. Right. Bledsoe was the first $100 million quarterback in the league.
The Pats to a Super Bowl.
So Brady, by all accounts, was, in the year in which he was drafted, showing some signs. Even though I think he trotted into a game on Thanksgiving Day in a blowout in Detroit. And the next year, in training camp, started looking the part. And when he trotted on the field in place of Bledsoe, all of us were thinking exactly what we're thinking about Jarrett Stidham. Thinking about Brady.
Good memory on that. Tom, they got their butts kicked by the Lions.
Yeah. He had a cup of coffee on Thanksgiving.
He was 1 for 3 for 6 yards.
Right. And that's your frame of reference when Tom Brady ran on the field.
That's true.
So maybe, because it's still the same coach making this evaluation, if I'm not mistaken.
Same coach. 8 rings.
And all I'm hearing, again, and this is not just Patriots people whispering or pushing. We heard the reason why when Joel Klatt came on here and created news when he said he heard from his Fox College football gig that Jay Gruden and a bunch of the D.C. staff was not in on Dwayne Haskins at all, and it created a huge stink. Apparently the quarterback they didn't want in Haskins, they wanted to wait to get, was Jarrett Stidham. And the Patriots snapped him up. Same guy who also grabbed Jimmy G, correct? Now, I know we could go on and we could say he grabbed some other guys that did not materialize.
Yeah, Ryan Mallett.
Not everybody's perfect.
True.
So I'm just throwing that out there. Don't sleep, I guess, on Jarrett Stidham just yet.
Tom Curran expects him to be the starter.
Right. Correct. So let's see what that happens. And that's why I think Cam Newton is going to go through the draft without a team. Fact. Opening night of the draft, Cam Newton will be just like us on a couch. By the way, I might be on the couch myself hosting it from my house. I want to talk about that coming up in the next hour a little bit. As I spoke to Peter King, I guess I was his lead quote in his Monday, his Football Morning in America column that came out today. And I think Cam's going to be sitting at home and seeing who drafts who and who needs who. And Cam will get a gig once we figure out who drafts who. But based on what we heard from Jaylen Hertz with a no comment, with a Brady-esque I plead the fifth, seems like the Patriots have been zooming with him a little bit. Why not?
Why not?
Hour number 3, more of your phone calls, 844-204-RICH. I'll give you my 2 cents on the inside of what everybody's talking about with the NFL draft and how it might look. And Rex Chapman, man, I love this man's Twitter feed. We are all here for that content. And we'll chat with Rex. Life, Twitter, and so much more in hour number 3. And also with you at 844-204-RICH here on this loyal Rich Eisen Show radio affiliate, Sirius XM Radio, and also youtube.com/Rich Eisen Show to watch us live. Okay, everybody. Billy Bob Thornton has been on this show multiple times, right? Multiple times. Mostly to promote that fantastic Amazon Prime show, Goliath.
Top notch. And
we haven't done this in a while, but we open up my residual checks from SAG-AFTRA here on the show. It's usually like 50 cents, $1.05. I started doing it with celebrity guests sitting there and them telling their stories of how they opened up their first checks of residuals, which means you get a little bit of money years later when anytime it airs somewhere. Anyway, Billy Bob came by and we had some fun with him on that. I've got my residuals, and if you don't mind, I'd like to crow about my career through my residual checks to you sitting right here. I've got 4 envelopes. Which 1 through 4? You choose. Which one do you think?
Let's pick number 2 first.
Number 2 first. Yeah. Here we go. Billy Bob Thornton. Yeah. What's the oldest residual checks that you have?
Probably from like Knots Landing and Matlock, stuff like that.
Come on.
Oh, yeah. Wow. No, I get them for like 13 cents all the time, from Matlock.
From Matlock
and
yeah.
Knots It's like
Landing.
one scene or something in the early 80s.
Okay.
Yeah, right.
Well, this one is from, let's see, right here. This one is from CSI Miami, Caged.
Nice.
I can't believe, this is insane, Billy. This is nuts,
Is this
Chris.
a real one?
This is a real one. From syndication. $153.
Wow, nice job. Nice job.
This is a record, Billy.
Wow.
I'm telling you.
I got to open these up more in front of you.
I'm telling you, you can actually afford to send this one in to be cashed.
Sir, usually there must be a decimal point off. It's usually $1.53.
Wow.
Oh, I know, right?
What's Caruso making if I'm making $153?
Exactly.
Here we go. Billy Bob Thornton, you're my good luck charm, man.
I got a bad feeling about this one now.
This is for CSI Miami Deep Freeze.
Oh, Deep Freeze.
Okay, the other episode, Caged, was for $153. Deep Freeze, appropriately named, $3.09,
There
everybody.
you go. And how ironic that your name is Rich.
Yes. Knots Landing, huh? That's the oldest one you got?
Yeah, I was like a friendly rancher or something on there. I had my scene with Ted Shackelford. Yes, that's right.
You were officially called a timberman.
The timberman?
Yeah, you were a timberman.
Oh, yeah, wow.
On Matlock, you were a pawn shop clerk.
Yeah, pawn shop clerk. I remember that one. Yeah.
Previously on the Rich Eisen Show.
Even when you talk about the commissioner from Rob Manfred from Major League Baseball, that even when it does return, that those dates are in June, you then look at the calendar and realize you're still in March, so you've got all of April and all of May before you get to June. And maybe we'll get games. Now, I'm not trying to be the wet blanket. The wet blanket is COVID-19. I'm just really starting to grasp how long this is going to be.
Another Rich Eisen Show is coming at you right now.
Y'all ready for this?
This is the Rich Eisen Show.
Feeling like an animal, living in the zoo. My friends text me, I'm like, don't come through.
Live from the Rich Eisen Show studio in Los Angeles.
Yeah, I'm living like a loser, only hang with my producer.
Heard nationwide, televised online at richeisenshow.com.
I think it's impossible to play without fans.
Wait till y'all see me and my teammates handshakes after this.
Earlier on the show, New Orleans Saints wide receiver Emmanuel Sanders, Oklahoma quarterback Jaylen Hertz. Coming up, 12-year NBA veteran Rex Chapman. And now, it's Rich Eisen.
Okay, everybody, hour number 3, Rich Eisen Show. We're sitting here in our Los Angeles studios. We took last week off. It was supposed to be spring break, if you will. My family and I were supposed to be on vacation together. Instead, we were sheltered in place together, and all of us are feeling fine and well enough to come here. Brockman putting on a nice fresh set of hand sanitizer for hour number 3. Brockman and Del Tufo appropriately socially distanced, and we got less than 7 people here. So we're less than 7, not less than 10. We're less than, which I sound like the president. 7 is less than 10. So we're all here together, healthy, and as long as we are, we're here for you if you'd like us to be. And for anybody out there that needs somebody like us to give them a little bit of a break, we'll be here for you. Emmanuel Sanders in hour 1, Jaylen Hertz in hour 2. 2 great conversations about a veteran entering the 2020 campaign with his 4th team of his career, and he went to the Super Bowl of all 3 previous teams. How about that? You get Emmanuel Sanders, you go to the Super Bowl eventually. And he would be the first player in the history of the NFL to be on 4 different Super Bowl teams. No one's ever done that. So
that's wild.
And we talked to them about Jimmy G and the throw that almost put them both in the history books forever, and that wasn't. And Jaylen Hertz starting his career now, coming off of, I guess his next team would be his 3rd team since high school. And normally when that happens, it's because a player bounces around for something that's not that great. But he is, as to use the phrase that Mayock always used, clean off the field. And a high character guy. Because, if you're a character guy, that's the phrase in NFL circles. Character guy is bad. You don't want to be a character guy. That means your character is questioned. If you're a high character guy, that's a good thing. That means you've got great character. And Jaylen Hertz is that. Been through a journey. He's already battle tested Alabama and Oklahoma. Who wants him? He said, I'm a dog, is how he referred to himself. I said to him, what do you get? What's the team going to get if they get you? I'm a dog. Which is a good thing in many different ways. We have 2 at home. Rescue. But anyway, this guy is going to be a great asset to a team, if not a great starting quarterback in this league. I'm very high on Jaylen Hertz. We're going to have Rex Chapman, speaking of positivity. He'll be joining us. I love his Twitter feed. My wife loves his Twitter feed. Everybody loves his Twitter feed. His latest tweet yesterday, I showed it to my kids. It was a truck driving on thin ice, and then the truck goes through the ice.
Yeah.
And then you realize, well, spoiler alert.
A giant hand
reaches in and it's a toy the entire time. I just wonder how he chooses these videos. Blocker charge is how it all started with, where someone would collide with another human being, or some human being would collide with something.
Or like 2 animals.
You'd have to, or a pole.
Crazy.
Is it a block or a charge? It's just amazing what he's become, if you will. And it was a great Eat 60 piece on him. I'm like, let's get Rex on. Let's talk life. Let's talk a little bit of fun with Rex. Our conversation of the day has been, if you could hit the unsend button and retract a sporting moment in your life, the same way that Apple is apparently coming up with technology to retract a text that you send somebody, what would that be? What would it be for you? Would it be the Tyreek catch?
Without a doubt.
Would it be the Ramil Robinson free throw for you, Mike?
The Phantom foul. For the free throw. I mean,
the foul that led to the free throw.
Exactly.
Seton Hall, Michigan.
Yeah.
And then with me, we talked about 4 different Michigan moments that it would be. But for me, as a Yankee fan, it would be
Reggie leaving.
Well, Reggie leaving upset me greatly as a kid. It would be hitting the Unsend. It would be
Luis Gonzalez.
That would be. It's hurtful, but there's still 4 World Series titles.
Right.
Humble brag. Before that,
Yeah.
it would be Edgar Martinez hitting that extra base hit to send Griffey home to eliminate the Yankees in '95 because that was Mattingly's last game as a Yankee, and he retired. I kind of would have to hit that.
That's a good one.
Or hit Unsend on whatever trash can they banged last fall that let Altuve know that somebody was throwing 100 miles an hour worth of gas was going to throw something off speed that he was on. Like, he knew it was coming. Maybe get Unsend on that one.
Unsend the buzzer attached to his
Unsend the buzzer,
chest.
yeah. Unsend that. Yeah, unsend that one.
Unsend him not ripping his shirt off.
Who knew that somebody could be on top of an off-speed pitch when somebody's flame throwing over 100 every single time he rears back? That's odd.
Allegedly.
We also have a poll question today, too, right? What is that?
Yeah, we do. So looking at who won the offseason, who won the NFL offseason, Bills, Bucks, Cardinals, Saints. A lot of people questioning why the Saints are on this poll, but that's neither here nor there. Cardinals win this one 38%, Bucks 30%, Bills 20%.
Man, I got to tell you, when you get DeAndre Hopkins for a 2 and you're also send away a contract that you want to get out from under.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it. DeAndre Hopkins is going to be on the same field as Larry Fitzgerald. What if Hopkins is outside the numbers and Larry's inside the numbers on the same side of the field? What do you do then?
And Christian Kirk on the other side.
That's right. And Kenyon Drake, no surprise, signed his tender. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I want to be part of that. Yes, you do, Kenyon. Smart move, man.
Yeah.
Smart move. Matt in Oklahoma. How you been, Matt? Family all well and good? Everybody good?
Yeah. How you guys doing?
Knocking on wood for you, sir. What's going on?
I got a couple of things for you. First off, that Mike Del Tufo segment. Show and tell Mike Del Tufo should be a regular weekly segment on the show.
Okay. That was fun last week. Check that out on our Zoom, on our YouTube page. We had some fun with our Zoom.
You guys all know my answer on this one. It's wide right. We know it is. I've had so much freaking heartache over that stupid play. I almost said a bad word.
Yes, I heard that. Be careful. Your kids are around too.
Yeah, I know we shimmied away. That's the only time in my life that in grade junior high I went to the principal's office over that play. I don't regret it. Jason Davis was the guy that had an accident with his desk on that day. I went to the principal's office. I think he felt bad for me because I was wearing my Bill shirt, so he sent me back to class and told me to be nice. So I don't feel bad at all. I'd do it again in a heartbeat. I'm just glad you guys are back on, man. It makes days go by a whole lot faster.
Appreciate the call, Matt. Hang in there, and we'll get through this all together. And you can watch us, youtube.com/Rich Eisen Show. Appreciate whether you're listening to us on Fox Sports Radio Premier or Sirius XM. Let's sneak in one more call here. Phil in Orlando, you're here on the Rich Eisen Show. What's up, Phil?
Hey, Rich, how you doing?
What's on
I
your...
want to ask you a question regarding next year's draft, not this year's draft.
Right.
Do you think that Justin Fields has any chance at getting drafted above Trevor Lawrence, or is it the clear-cut Trevor Lawrence is number one, he's the guy, he's the Peyton Manning of this draft class, Andrew Luck, whatever you want to call it?
This is going to be viewed as Ohio State hate, or pardon me, the Ohio State hate, which the way I just said that and set it up, I guess gives more credence to people who think this is Ohio State hate, or pardon me, the Ohio State hate. It is not. There are teams right now that would take Trevor Lawrence over Joe Burrow or Tua or Justin Herbert right now. There are teams right now that would I tweeted out when Trevor Lawrence ran away from some of the members of the Ohio State defense that teams were thinking of tanking for Trevor Lawrence right now. Fields is very talented, and I'm sure he'll be drafted highly in 2021. Not above Trevor Lawrence, sir. No, sir. Not at all. And thank you for the call. Appreciate it. Oh, no way. You could put that puppy in Sharpie. This year's draft is apparently going to go down on April 23rd through the 25th, as we all know. And I may, for the first time in my career, have to say to my 3 children, instead of, hey, kids, Dad's going to be gone for the week because I'm got to go someplace for the draft, I might be telling my children for the first time, keep it down, kids. Daddy's got to host a draft in his office. Now, you could hear the kids playing basketball.
Yeah, definitely could hear them.
Playing basketball in that room above us.
Hear them.
Yeah. Oh,
Last week when I'm recording in,
courts were open
in that very office.
The courts were open upstairs.
It was outside, upstairs, living room.
Hey, it's a lively house, thank God. Yeah. But it may just come down to it that, hey, kids, those doors are closed. Be careful because,
Will they slip
the Panthers are on the clock.
Yeah, right.
Will your kids slip the picks under the door?
We have a trade.
We have a trade.
Should I have them come on and announce the trade?
Yeah. Have Cooper suited and booted. Walk out the trade details.
Cooper, as we all know, lone wolf the Bills on Thanksgiving on NFL Game Day morning to beat the Cowboys. I think that may just happen. And I think we're all going to be maybe in our homes and in our camps putting it together. Yeah. And everybody's trying to figure out what it would look like. In the same way that some teams are not in their facilities right now because they're not allowed to be in their facilities because they're sheltered in place, and other teams are, I guess, using that room. And the NFL might make a rule saying everybody's got to be out of their home bases and figure out whatever else they're doing just to keep it competitively balanced. I don't know. These are things that are being discussed right now. Apparently, I don't know. I think ESPN is up and running up in Bristol, Connecticut right now.
They're in the studio now.
Right. So, but a lot of people are sitting in their homes on their home cams.
Right.
I think that's the way the draft might be. And I don't know, we're used to seeing all the bells and whistles and everything going on. And Peter King called me up late last week saying he heard that the commissioner, Roger Goodell, might announce the picks from his living room.
I mean,
like his own home. Now, when I gave the response, didn't know what Peter, I guess, found out subsequently that that's being called a worst case scenario. But as I said, I'm like, what better way for the NFL to show leadership on the shelter in place, stay at home if you can,
by doing it,
than by having the commissioner right there in his home. I don't,
I feel bad for the I feel bad for
the kids, man.
Yeah,
of course.
It's like you get the one experience. Anyone.
I know. And it's not just that, even if you're not there, exactly, graduations, proms, senior year,
senior season,
spring events.
Sports.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oof.
Which is why I'm thinking about when I hear about some general managers and scouts are like, hey, this is not fair to do a draft like this. Everybody's losing out and making sacrifices. I'm proud to say between the 23rd and 25th, if people are still, that this has not become some sort of awful hellscape in our country, which I'm knocking on wood that everything that has been put in place in other states follow in line and testing becomes more prevalent than it is now, and that we aren't hearing about famous people or owners of teams or athletes getting tested in a manner, or politicians getting tested because they're asymptomatic, that we as the rest of the populace can have that sort of ability, and we're not charged up the you-know-what for it, that it's free and it's available, and we're able to actually find who has it, find out who's had it, and figure out how to quarantine through that. That I'm proud to say, if we are still a country that is searching for a diversion, the NFL draft between the 23rd and 25th is going to be a huge hit. And if I'm asked to, hey, put on a suit and go downstairs and host it, I'm in. I'm way in. And the kids just need to keep it down and can't play basketball in their room upstairs.
Basketball,
Could you imagine?
No basketball from 4 to
That's going to be long.
8,
it's going to be a long
9,
one.
yeah.
It's going to be a long
First
one.
round usually lasts 5 hours or so.
Yeah. Then that Friday night will be a quick one for Jaylen Hertz, buddy.
Maybe I should build a mobile studio for you, Rich.
What is the mobile studio?
Pull it in front of it.
Well, I don't know. Like I did the NFL draft. I mean, the NFL free agency in that Dion room where Dion does his 21st and prime show when he comes in. I was by myself.
Yeah, that was great.
Literally walked into NFL Network, interacted with maybe 2 human beings who are well far away from me, and I walked into that room, and it smelled like I dove headfirst into a bottle of bleach. That's how clean it was.
Yeah.
I'll sit in that room if I have to also.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
I mean, that's the way it may be. I don't know. I don't know what the control room is going to be in terms of social distancing. And, there's tapes and galore. The planning that goes into it is insanity.
There's 400 player tapes.
I know.
I mean,
so I don't know how it's all going to work. And I'm sure everybody's wondering all that right now. But and I'll just say this, and then we'll take a break. Another thing, too, that I'm sure the NFL is thinking about as they're going about their business today, apparently voting on approving the 2 new playoff games that are coming this year. By the way, spoiler alert, that's going to pass. All right. And then apparently they're voting on Amazon taking part in a little bit more of expanded role in terms of broadcasting games. So those are probably the 2 votes they're taking today based
Thursday?
on Judy
Or just
Battista.
on
I don't know what it means.
Yeah.
But when, if not now, when is it going to be fine to do the draft? Right? Like, when will it be fine to get physicals? You heard Emmanuel Sanders say in hour 1 that he hasn't technically signed his Saints contract, which means I'm very pleased and appreciative of him coming on to talk about it as if it's done. That he hasn't signed it yet because he can't get a physical yet. And so might as well hold it. I know it's a significant in terms of the way that teams prepare for it hindrance, and it's definitely something that a lot of lives in terms of jobs depend upon getting this thing right. But if all 32 are in on it like that, when else is it going to be fine? Just do it and provide the distraction that I'm hoping we still will all want between the 23rd and 25th of April. Take a break. Rex Chapman, when we come back. Your calls at 844-204-RICH as well. I can't wait to ask Rex on what he would want to have unsent. Maybe is it Leitner's basket? Is it Leitner's basket against Kentucky? Which, by the way, I think there was the anniversary of just this past week.
Yeah, that was played while we were gone, too.
844-204-RICH. Our friend Rex Chapman when we come back here on The Rich Eisen Show. Should I take a call here?
Yeah, do it.
Yeah, do it.
Why not? Certainly, since this is what we call long distance. Right? Can't keep a guy from Sydney, Australia on the line. Gary, are you there? Is this literally from, I'm mandated as an American sports broadcaster, call it Down Under. Otherwise, they take my card away. Gary from Down Under, Sydney, Australia, here on The Rich Eisen Show. What's up, Gary?
Rich, I met you many years ago when I was producing Beg, Borrow and Deal. You and your great wife, Susie. And Susie, you knew I liked cake. And any time we went anywhere, she always made sure there was cake for me. So say hello to Susie.
I will do that, Gary. How you been?
And I'm good. I'm down here. I'm your biggest Australian fan and Miami Dolphins fan as well. I think that the NFL should go to 17 games, but they should have an extra bye. They should have 2 byes because then the season is, spread out a little bit. Players get rested, and we can watch more games.
The issue is, Gary, is that there used to be 2 bye weeks in the league. I guess the coaches, everybody hated it. It just didn't. I think one year there was like a week 17 bye for some teams. They just didn't get it right. Am I correct, Chris? You're nodding your head.
I believe so. I do remember that. It was early 90s.
To me, if you extend it by 2 weeks with the 2 byes, Gary, that would put the Super Bowl on President's Day weekend, which would in fact give the country what many people joke about, a national holiday the day after Super Sunday. So
will we do that in Australia? in our rugby league competition.
Right.
It's New South Wales and Queensland. We had 2 buys in our season. Our season is longer, but we have 2 buys.
Mm-hmm.
But we also the grand final, as we call it, like your Super Bowl,
right,
is on a Sunday night, and on the Monday is Labor Day, so it's a public holiday. So we do it here, and it's possible. Think about it. I don't want to, change your whole system.
No. It makes sense.
But it's a thought.
Hey, before I let you go, how is everything? What is life like in Sydney? Are you sheltered in place in Sydney? What is everything like there?
I am sheltered. They say that we're a couple of weeks behind America. We've just gone into lockdown stage 2. We probably go to 3. As same thing. 90% of the people have been fantastic. It's just the 10%, are flaunting it by going to the beaches and so on, and not keeping their distance and so on. But shops are closed now and so on. But we're doing okay. But we're more thinking about everybody there and, watching what's happening in New York and so on. My thoughts go out to everybody.
Appreciate that. What about testing? Have you been tested? Is it more prevalent there?
I have not been tested. They say per head of population we've had more testing than any other country. But I don't know anybody that's been tested. So, to give you an example.
Just wondering.
I know. Yeah, sorry.
No, I was just wondering. Hey, look, thanks for the call. I can't wait to tell Susie we had a chat, and she sends you virtual cake. Okay.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. And I'll call again.
Please, call back. There you go. There's Gary. Beg, borrow, and deal, man. That's been
1993 was the 18-week season.
Nobody liked it. I don't think anybody liked it. 18 weeks. Damn. All right, we'll come back. Rex Chapman here on The Rich Eisen Show. Welcome back to the Rich Eisen Show. His Twitter feed is a must. It is delightful, and it's funny. It's hilarious. On occasion, it is a little bit of heartbreaking because it's about life. And the E60 piece on this guy was just dynamite, and I'm pleased and happy to be able to call him a friend. He is Rex Chapman here on the Rich Eisen Show. How are you, Rex?
Hey, buddy. How you doing? Hanging in there?
We are. How about you? Everyone you know happy, healthy, safe? Can you?
Yeah, I mean, few people knocked up, beaten up with this stuff that I do know of, and fortunately, so far they're doing okay, but scary, really scary.
No doubt about it. No doubt about it. Did you ever think you'd become like a social media star, Rex, that people look to for a moment of sanity? Did you ever think you'd have that in you?
Absolutely not. I said it the other day. I'm not naturally just a happy-go-lucky guy. I'm faking my way through a lot of this, and these are scary times, man. So no, I absolutely didn't think I could have any or should have any kind of influence on anyone.
But you do. I mean, how do you choose what you post?
Probably just being a Twitter addict, sitting there scrolling the timeline, coming across things that I find, and reach out to somebody, see if they'll, mind if I tweet it, see if I can find a video of that, or, and I've got some pretty good friends out there now, a couple, one in the Netherlands, another in London, that we just kind of like the same stuff, and they'll send me videos and I'll retweet some of their videos. So it's all really, I think it is what social media is supposed to be about, instead of all the snarky nonsense. But I'm that guy too. I can get that way. And so, I guess it's just better to be positive right now.
I know, exactly. And it's what people are looking for. It did all start with the old blocker charge. What was the first blocker charge you posted, Rex? Which one was that?
I really think, I know I came on with you. Well, first I came on with you, Rich, a few years ago before all of this. You were one of the first people that had me on right after I'd gotten in trouble. I probably wasn't out of rehab even a year. And I came over to your studio there in, Culver City?
Yep, up there we're in El Segundo in California. And Culver City's in NFL Network. Yep,
Yeah, and so, all of this stuff, you guys, people have been great to me, and it's all been, a huge part of me trying to rebound from, 15, 16 years of addiction.
Well, no, are you kidding me? I mean, come on now. Rex Chapman here on the Rich Eisen Show. We've had Ryan Leaf on here, Rex, and he's been very, very open about his battles and what it means. What would you tell people who are listening right now? Certainly, there's a lot of alone people right now. That's one of the more hard things about this virus is how it's creating more and more loneliness for the right reasons. We are all loving one another by choosing to stay away from one another right now. At least that's one way to look at it.
Yeah.
What would you say to people like that, Rex?
Well, I really, and I'm glad you brought this up, because I was just, I swim normally, and you can't swim, you can't go anywhere, you can't do anything. Pools are closed, so I'm just struggling with my own personal, mental health right now, like everyone else is. This is a load. And I was walking today, and I started thinking about, being all those years, all those days on opioids and pills. And the hardest thing once you're coming out of that is when something goes bad in your life. A lot of people that have these problems have legal problems, they have family problems, work problems. And so once you've kind of gotten clean, dealing with the adversity without reaching into your pocket for pills is one of the hardest things you'll do. So just imagine right now, everyone at home, lonely. And the other thing about pills, they're silent. They don't smell. They don't smell like weed. They don't smell like alcohol. You can sort of blend in until your life just falls apart. So I would tell people at home right now, tread very carefully with all opioids. Don't take anything. As much as we have over the years, don't take anything unless it's not prescribed for you. Don't do that. Kids at home, you see these pill bottles in the cabinets, don't do it. I'm just telling you, I wasn't a party guy. I wasn't a drinker, a smoker, none of that. Everybody will tell you that, all of my teammates. And to be 1 year out of the NBA after never being in trouble my entire life, being in rehab, and from forevermore being, labeled a drug addict, is not something that I had planned on. And it can happen to you, whether you go out and seek that sort of behavior, wanting to have fun and partying, or whether you got hurt and, somebody puts you on painkillers. It doesn't matter how you get there. You then got to get out of it, and that's all the same.
Rex Chapman here on the Rich Eisen Show. And again, I guess the combination of loneliness, boredom,
I mean, this is a challenge for all of us, whether it's mental health, drug and alcohol. This is a challenging time because, we know, we all have family members, and we know people who are getting through the day, how they're getting through it, however that is right now. And it's just a scary time. You got to lean on one another as much as we can without being around one another.
That's what I was going to ask is what counsel would you give? Is there a number? Is there a place to reach out? Did you what did you do? What would you have done, I guess, is what I'm saying here.
I think that if you're struggling, if you're ever struggling with drugs or alcohol, you've got to find somebody, because here's the thing. You're usually the last one to acknowledge it. Your friends and everybody, they kind of know already, or they probably do know, and you've alienated them. So you start isolating, and because the people that know you realize your behavior is different. So you isolate, and then you've kind of alienated those relationships. You go to places and do things that make you feel good. The first thing you have to do is you've got to go talk to someone you trust, someone you love, that isn't going to beat you up about coming to them, that they're going to understand and try to help you, because it's really hard, and it's really hard admitting, that you have an issue. I tried and tried and tried and tried and tried to quit on my own. I always say I quit every day. I just could not start back up again the same day.
Right.
So, yeah, it's a monster, man.
Rex Chapman here on the Rich Eisen Show. And again, you are such a force of positivity, Rex. It really is amazing. And I'm seriously I see.
It really sounds funny to hear you say that, because when my friends hear people say that, they all start laughing.
But it's true. It's so true. And I also see just the wide range of people who are retweeting you from all different walks of life. Like who's the one that you saw retweet you? I know you do give a lot of the emojis of the flexing the muscles and saying hey, but who's the one who's retweeted you that you're like, oh my God, that's something else?
Well, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Mark Hamill,
yes.
Imam of Peace, just all Ben Stiller, Chris Pratt, Soledad O'Brien,
That's
a
right.
lot of the media people, and then people from celebrities and famous people, entertainers, politicians that I don't really know at all from other countries, that have kind of, they're all kind of people that like to look at the same stuff and need some positivity and laughs here and there. So that part of it is really cool to me, because I know there's so many members of the media, in every big market, little market, that follow this silly account, that, it picks up a lot of traction, and that way you can spread a lot of good stuff to so many people, because those people all have pretty big accounts as well.
Right. And then, so what's the one that you're happy about the most? I mean, walk me through some of the ones that you liked.
Oh, well, the one I told my friends and son the other day, last week, out of nowhere, I looked, I said I had a new follower, and I looked, saw who it was, and told my friends, all right, it's over. I can leave now. It's all done. Tommy Chong. I'm followed by Tommy Chong now. Take that.
Hey man, we had him in studio a few months ago, and it was just.
How was it?
Oh my God.
How was it?
Is he 80, Chris? Isn't he 80 now or something like that?
Yeah, he's up there. Hold on.
And it was amazing.
I mean, yeah, just unbelievable. I
81.
It's fantastic. Tommy Chong.
Tommy Chong. So you could direct message Tommy Chong now if you wanted to, right?
Yeah, exactly. I wouldn't, but I could, I guess.
Well, you could start. I'll say it. You could start like a bong or blunt, right? Instead of block and charge.
There's
you could do that.
All kinds of ways to go with this.
Vapor.
paper dab.
That's it. You can do it all separate. You can do.
I mean, I hear.
Yes,
I don't
yeah,
know
of
what
course.
we're talking
No,
about.
look, we understand.
Yeah.
Me too. Secondhand information. Secondhand information. You know, and again, it's funny. You know, your love for dogs too has been amazing. I just love all those videos about dogs and you know, dogs, bro. What dogs do you have? Do you have a couple or one, two, or you know?
Yeah, I have a German Shepherd. I've had German Shepherd. I just had one that I actually I gave to a friend of mine, one of my favorite dogs ever, Ace, but I had to get rid of him when I went to rehab. And Ace ended up being one of the greatest dogs for my friend and his family there in L.A., and they just had a baby, and then Ace had to be put down about 2 weeks ago.
I'm so sorry to hear that.
Tough, man. Tough for them, tough for us. But I've got a German Shepherd named Deuce, after Ace, of course.
Very good.
And, and he's terrific. He's all kinds of weird. Not the smartest German Shepherd I've ever had, but I sure do love him.
It's funny. It's funny, Chris. Our dogs, Dylan and Halo, are rescue Goldens and White Golden. Susie took a video of them like doing a tug of war or something. She took a video and she texts me. She says, "Send it to Rex for his feed."
Yeah,
so
isn't that great?
we're submitting.
I get a lot of these now.
We submit videos. You know,
I know it's the best thing ever. And like you gave me one the other day that you couldn't necessarily put out, and it was great, right?
Well,
it was great. It was this guy. It was the guy singing the song about staying home. Stay the F at home. I think.
Yes, the guy who looked like Letterman. It showed up on my feed. I sent it to you, and I'm like, I don't think I can post this one. This thing's directly up your alley. It was.
Yeah, so credit Rich Eisen. Yeah, it was great.
Man,
It's
fantastic. That's great. All right, before I let you go, our question of the day, because we're just having some fun in the sports world to go down a little bit of a diversion wormhole, is, Apple has created or is trying to create a way for you to claw back a text that you didn't mean to send somebody, to kind of hit unsend. We're like, what would you want to, if your one sports moment, whether it's from your professional career or your rooting career or whatever, when you're growing up, what?
I thought you were taking a shot at me for a second with Apple.
No.
I had to.
My bad.
Go on, buddy.
I'm glad that you can laugh at that.
What?
Fantastic.
Wow.
No.
I was like, where is this going?
I didn't think of that either.
No, it's the technology we're talking about. Technology. The sports.
All right, if I could draw back what?
What sports moment would you want to draw back of your career? Hit unsend and erase.
Okay.
Yes, a sports moment.
A sports moment. Okay. Oh man, I really don't know. I can remember being just one of the first times I've ever been embarrassed on a basketball court. I was a senior in high school playing a big game against our arch rival at home, and I pulled the old Eric Bledsoe. Referee handed me the ball, and I dribbled the ball inbounds all the way to half court before anybody really realized. The fans were going crazy. The referees finally realized. And I just lost it, but was mortified. Yeah, so that's it, I guess.
My guess would have been Leitner, beating Kentucky.
Oh, you talking about
any moment.
I thought that I was a part of it.
Well, there's one, and then what would be the any moment, I guess?
Oh, well, yeah, of course, Leitner. That was after I was in school, but that was just soul crushing. Yeah.
That's what I thought. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that's probably it. Yeah, and for so many people around here.
You'd hit unsend on behalf of millions of people from your area.
Yeah. Right?
You're too much. That is so funny. You are so damn funny, man. Hey, Rex, keep doing what you're doing. Keep doing what you're doing.
Okay, buddy.
Keep doing what you're doing. My wife and I will keep sending. We'll keep sending you dog videos, hoping that we crack your lineup. I know you're very tough. You're very discerning.
Yeah. Her shot selection is great. I don't tweet too much. I'm a volume tweeter, just like I was shooter.
Right, and we're showing. I love it, and we're showing right now for the next 2 weeks 100% of the profits of Blocker Charge T-shirts. Tell us what this is all about.
Yeah, it's going to a COVID relief fund that I set up with. Partnered with my opioid foundation, Rex Chapman Foundation, and we partnered with Bluegrass Community Foundation here in Kentucky. And actually, in the last 2 or 3 days, we've given out about $25,000, $5,000 to God's Pantry here in Kentucky, $10,000 to Harrison County Hospital. It's first patient, COVID patient there 2 weeks ago. I'm drawing a blank on a couple other donations, and then we're also, as the week unfolds, we're going to be giving out more across the country to places that hot spots that I've kind of crossed paths with over the years, Miami, Charlotte, Phoenix, LA, and then of course New York and Seattle. So we're going to try to hit as many places as we can, and if you keep donating, we'll keep doling it out.
KYforKY.com, correct? That's where you can get it? KentuckyForKentucky.com.
That's it.
Very good. And then get those Blocker Charge T-shirts going. I'll go online later on. We'll get a whole bunch for my family. We love it. We love you, Rex.
You let me know what you need. Buddy.
Hey, my kids. I showed my kids. I showed my kids that video yesterday of you of the truck on the ice. They freaked out, and then they freaked out.
Wasn't that great?
Oh my gosh, that was amazing.
Great.
I know. That was.
I know.
I don't want to give much away. I want people to go to your Twitter feed to see it if they haven't already seen it. And then, of course, if you do look at the video that I put on Rex's radar screen of that guy telling everybody about social distancing in only his very special manner.
Piano.
Yeah, earmuffs. Earmuffs.
From Rich Eisen. Earmuffs.
Take care of yourself,
right.
Rex. You're the man.
See you, buddy.
You got
Talk
it.
to you.
At Rex Chapman. On Twitter, right on the Rich Eisen Show.
The best.
Do people need to Google him and Apple?
We were not setting him up. that was an honest mistake. That was an unfortunate mistake there.
844-204-RICH, number to dial. We will hit the phone calls and wrap up the show. Set up the rest of the week. As long as we are healthy and happy, even though Brockman sneezed once during that conversation.
Allergies.
It was very good, thank God. Del Tufo nearly dove under his desk. It's all good. He did it. He did it right in his elbow.
I did.
Did he not?
I Cam dabbed that.
Uh-oh. Mike, you're not saying anything?
I'm pleading the fifth.
Okay.
Mike, it's on camera.
Yeah, it's
okay.
It's in the area.
We'll take a break.
Wow.
We'll come back here on the Rich Eisen Show. Don't go anywhere. You all right over there, Mike?
I'm fine.
You
It's
good?
just, I just gotta be careful. I mean, I was like hit with a little.
Were you hit?
No, I'm joking.
Okay, good.
But I gotta my face.
You're Purelling your face.
Don't even joke about that. You shouldn't put Purell on your face.
I do.
It says it right on the label.
Is that what it says?
Fine. Kill stuff. Microphone.
Do not use near the eyes.
Yeah, you can use
it
on the
says it
face.
right on
Careful,
there.
careful, Mike.
I've been doing that for years. I'm living. It's not the only thing I disregarded in my life.
Mike Del Tufo, you're using the old Purell eye drops. We don't need
I got
that.
my own kit. I got soap per year. I bring it all with me.
Right.
I'm ready. You got to bring ready now.
Fun conversations today, huh? How about Rex going deep? He's the best.
I gotta say, it's good to be back.
Yeah, you like being here?
I do.
All right, well, we're not going anywhere. You know, we're here. You know, all those stories that were getting killed off of radio, we're here. We're not going anywhere.
Yeah, fake news.
Well, I mean, people who are listening to us on these radio stations right now on April 8th might hear a different voice. It's not Joey Molinaro. By the way, those videos were off the friggin' charts.
That was, I've rewatched the Stephen A. Smurf one like a dozen times. It's so funny.
Stephen A. Smurf
was so funny. And then Stephen A. hitting it himself.
He did. On
and
Instagram.
posting it on Instagram, Twitter and Instagram.
Yeah. So we're up and at 'em today. We're doing our best. Yeah, people like the fact that Mike mentioned that you Purell in other places. What other places do you Purell in? Did you say those words?
No, I said I've used Purell in different places.
Okay.
Other than just your hands.
I don't know what that means.
I use
My
Purell in other places.
Yeah.
TL Home is on our in the wormhole. Caught that one. I use Purell in other places. Now you mean other places? You mean
Like my
no.
face.
Oh, I thought you meant just differently,
No.
like in your
It
home
says
or
people
your
that use it in their, I've
on the
used it on my
road.
face.
Okay.
All right, just a second. I'm ordering up my blocker charge shirts right now.
Okay, good. KY4KY.com. Our phone calls 844-204-RICH. We'll take them. What do you think?
The mauve?
Yeah.
I think you're a little too dressed up.
Why?
I don't know.
What are you talking
You
about?
look so great at home, just like polo shirt, T-shirt.
Yeah, but you know
I like
what?
that look.
I don't know. And this is conversation I guess we can have. Everybody's looking down and dirty these days because it's just I'm doing it from home. We're doing it here. We're doing it there. I'm old school. I'm sitting at a desk. Here's my desk. Our beautiful set.
That's true.
This set is second to none.
Agreed.
How many guests do we have sit here
Agreed.
and say this is the greatest set in Los Angeles?
Nearly every single one of them.
And our we're on the campus of AT&T, and our friends here at AT&T, we're here. We're here for a long time. Thanks to the conversations that we've been having with them, we're here. So I don't know. I'm respecting the space, the studio space.
All right.
We can't really explore it at this point.
No.
We're not exploring.
Social
We're
distancing.
respecting.
No, but you know what I mean? Like
Yeah, I
I
know.
don't want to show up here in a T-shirt.
No, but the polo look you had the other day was good.
Okay. I was doing the old Sweat Tailor.
Yeah. I like that.
Give my friends at Sweat Tailor a little Zoom shout out. Those shows were fun to do.
They were fun.
I know.
I enjoyed those.
Problem is that you can't do it live though.
Yeah, you can.
Zoom?
Yeah,
We
I'm
could-
doing 3 of them this week with people.
What do you mean?
Tufos production company's in full effect with that.
What does that mean?
I'm rebroadcasting people to YouTube. Yeah, you could do it.
So I
told you that.
We could have done our Zoom show on our
Yeah,
YouTube feed.
I told you
How
that.
do we set that up?
I think there would have been. It was
I already tested it
too much
yesterday
to
for
set
2
up.
hours.
I don't know, bro.
It works.
I think it would have been a little tough.
I'm telling you, this is the future of we're seeing.
No, I know that.
It's insane.
No, I know, and
It's
more and more. I know.
Yeah, I mean, I was into this with my Friday show for 10 years. So for me,
I
the
just don't
internet's
want to
the
get.
world.
I don't know. Maybe
I
I'm
know.
old school.
It's
I
gonna
want
be-
things to look
No, 'cause
premium.
Yes.
I mean, I want
you
things to.
can though with the right stuff. I guarantee if you do the draft the way you guys are talking, Rich, it's going to look insane.
I don't know. We're gonna have a. I mean,
you'll use.
we're gonna have.
One of the
my
things
off-
I watched,
my
which was
kids,
unbelievable.
My kids just. Could you imagine?
Like
a
that
viral
guy,
moment?
like the
that guy
video
where
that
you- the
went
video
yeah,
where
where
the
his
kid's
kid
strolling
walked
down.
in.
You
Yeah,
gotta,
yeah.
that's. You put like
and
chairs.
some-
Like big trade going on.
You're gonna have security
You're
guard
talking
in
to
front of the door.
DJ to
Yeah.
get the details.
I mean,
Taylor walks right in.
Daddy.
Daddy. Xander's being a jerk. right
Don't
there.
put
actually be
Xander in
great.
charge of me.
You
He's
know-
not
you
the
know what-
boss of me.
You know what I watched yesterday? It was
So
insane.
funny.
so
There it
good.
is. Thanks, Don. There it is. This note, well.
I love Taylor.
Is
This
how
is the
she
best.
starts the note. Well.
That's a youngest kid thing, right?
100%. That
We
was as
have
soon as I saw that. I
X-Man
said
in
that.
this
100%.
I can see my sister doing that.
Well, we have X-Man in this conversation.
You can't tell me. You can't tell the
Fantastic.
baby what to do. The babies are. We're in charge.
Okay, welcome back to Rich Eisen Show, 844-204-RICH. Number to dial. Let's go to Andy in Peoria, Illinois, the great state. Let's play this in Peoria. What's going on, Andy?
Hey, Rich. Thanks for taking my call.
Thanks
really
for making it.
appreciate it. And I want to say, kind of like some of the other people have already stated, thanks for being a distraction during
Hey,
all this.
I appreciate it.
I watched virtual racing yesterday on FS1, followed by horse racing. So it's like
Hey.
your choices are limited for life stuff.
I'm here whatever I can do. If I can do it, I'm here.
Thank you. I'm going to change what I wanted to talk about a little bit. Emmanuel Sanders, as a Packer fan, that was interesting what he said about Aaron Rodgers and why he chose New Orleans. Jaylen Hertz, big fan. He's got a fan. He's going to make it in life regardless if he makes it in the NFL.
Right.
And Rex Chapman, That was a good interview. Rex is always classy, and it's good to hear his story.
Right back at you.
My moment of, if I could take it back, would be the Don Dinkinser call from the Cardinals and the Royals. I will never forget that. Todd Worrell covers first base. They blew it, and I actually, the next day, the only time I was at Arrowhead Stadium, I had tickets. Broncos, Chiefs, I think it was Elway's, second year in '85, and watched the game and then drove home and had to listen to it on the radio when Andujar blew up, and by the time I got home, it was 10-0, and it was over, and I never watched Game 7.
Right, I bet.
Anyway, thank you much. I know you're short on time.
No, good. Thank
Appreciate the call, and keep up the good work.
Appreciate the call from you. Thank you so much. Let's take this call from the UK. We took one during our YouTube break from Sydney, Australia. How are you, Anders?
Hey, Rich. Thanks for taking my call. Appreciate it.
Appreciate the call here.
Before I ask you the question about the Redskins that I really, really follow a lot, I just want to say, as a Danish guy living in the UK for 22 years now, I kind of miss the Brexit talk. Taking into consideration this COVID situation. Something to distract our mind.
Well, I'm appreciative of you calling and want to talk some football. So what's on your mind on that front?
Please tell me we can't go wrong with our first pick of the draft, is that we are going to take Chase Young.
Yeah, Anders. I would be stunned if they didn't. Kyle Allen being brought in to push Dwayne Haskins, which is what has been discussed. That's the point. You're bringing in Kyle Allen to push Dwayne Haskins. You're not going to bring in Cam to do it. And that's what I saw today, as a matter of fact, before I even took to the chair here and went on the air. As soon as I saw Kyle Allen get signed or acquired by the Redskins, that hit me home right away to basically say, guess what? Chase Young's coming your way, and you're in very good shape on that front. I wouldn't worry about it. And thank you for the call. You hang in there, and you be safe out there. How about that? A Danish guy living in the UK who roots for the Washington Redskins.
Sports.
Yeah, man. As soon as I saw Kyle Allen being acquired by
Ron Rivera,
that was it. Yep. And then they're like, he's the one who's being brought in to push, if you will, or mentor up Dwayne Haskins. That's the one. There you go. Chase Young's coming. End of story.
No doubt.
End of story.
No doubt.
So I want to thank today's guests, Emmanuel Sanders, Jaylen Hertz, and Rex Chapman. Want to thank them. Tomorrow's show, Peter King will join us. Also tomorrow's show, Melvin Gordon. Did you see what Melvin Gordon said, that he did have some regrets about not taking the Chargers deal because he said that it hurt some relationships?
Oh, interesting.
What he said?
I did not see that. I mean, he had a $10.5 million a year offer.
It cost him some millions.
Yeah.
But he's in a great spot. Man, him and Philip Lindsay are a great combination. A great combination. One is going to spell the other, is going to be one's a different runner from the other. I like it. Drew Lock, they get the right receivers up and running. I like what Denver's going to look like for a few years to come.
Tough division.
Isn't that, though? That's why Brady chose the NFC
division.
South. By the way, how about that? There was he's not going to go AFC West. Why would he go where Mahomes is? Okay, so he'll just go where Breeze is and where Matt Ryan is. I don't think that was a consideration at all.
Maybe not.
I don't think so. He just didn't want to go west.
Just didn't want to go west.
He just wanted to go south. That's it.
Still can't believe
Our
it.
final poll results over there, Christopher. What do you have over there from what everybody has come up with?
Yeah, so looking at which team had the best offseason, Cardinals 38%, Bucks 30%. Bills 20%, Saints 12%.
Yeah, buddy. I'll tell you what. I just hope this thing goes off as planned. And in terms of that, everybody wash your hands. Man. Don't touch your face if you can. Stay at home if you can. We are heading right back to our homes, all of us. And later on tonight, I'll send that text, how's everybody feeling? And then tomorrow morning, I'll send that text, how's everybody feeling? And everybody says, I'm feeling okay. And everybody in their house is okay.
We're back.
We'll be here tomorrow. Jerry Judy later this week. And I will ask him. I can't wait for that conversation. Is your nickname really Jew? Because we'll have to have a talk. All right?
I did not. I was not expecting that to end the show.
That's coming. That's how. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
we'll break that glass, but that's Wednesday.